Daddy, help me. See? Where are you?
Hello, and welcome to episode 45 of Voices in the Static, a Silent Hill fan podcast. My name is Whitney, and I'm a longtime fan of Konami's survival horror series and the owner of the fan site SilentHillHistoricalSociety.com, which I don't update now unless I make a new podcast episode like this one. It's currently Sunday, February 15th, 2026, and I'm here with several of my friends and fellow Silent Hill fans to discuss Christoph Gans's Return to Silent Hill. This is the third Silent Hill film, which I'm surprised even happened since Silent Hill Revelation 3D released 14 years ago? And it's also Gans's second attempt at adapting for the series. I'm sure you guys recall his first attempt, Silent Hill 2006. So very loosely based on the first Silent Hill game, was actually one of the better video game to film adaptations in the early 2000s. I wouldn't say it still holds that now, because we've had such, better, I think. I would consider, the Sonic ones better, and Fallout, the show, was really good. Arcane.
Mario.
I don't know about Super Mario. That was really popular, though, but I didn't actually like that one. I don't know if that makes me... It doesn't matter.
A shout out to box office breaking Iron Lung, too. That movie.
Regardless, the quality bar is much higher compared to, for video game movies than back then.
Yeah, we expect a little bit more than just similar visuals and maybe hearing a track or two from our favorite game. So anyway, this is a packed podcast, everybody. I have some of my usuals. I guess we should just go around, introduce ourselves. Why don't we start with the new people here? We have Josh and Victoria. If you guys listened to an episode or two back, I did a podcast with Josh and Bob about the Silent Hill 2 remake. He's rejoining us for this podcast. Say hello, Josh.
Hi, how's it going?
And Victoria is my friend. She is the control of this group. She has no real skin in the game with this. She's just a normal moviegoer. She saw the movie with me, and she's here to just explain her thoughts after seeing it. So I thought it'd be fun to have her on as well, because she vaguely knows Silent Hill things, but she's not hardcore like me or Josh or Kyle or CJ. So say hello, Victoria.
Hello, fabulous listeners.
Yeah, and why don't the rest of you guys can introduce yourselves, because...
I'm Kyle. I've been here before.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm CJ, also been here before.
I'm October. I've been here a couple times.
Oh my God, you guys are doing a horrible job. Okay.
Hi, I'm William. I'm the current editor of RelyOnHorror.com, and I have also been here before.
Thank you. Yeah, so they're my friends. If you guys have listened to the podcast, you should probably know who they are. My last podcast was mainly just CJ and Kyle. But yeah, wow, sorry, I'm doing a horrible job right now.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
We're also traumatized from this movie.
Okay, that reminds me. All right, everybody, I just want a thumbs up or a thumbs down, just so we get a inkling of the feelings about this movie, in case someone is expecting a certain type of person to be talking on this podcast. Would you give it a big thumbs up or a big thumbs down?
The mole people are seeing my thumbs down.
Yeah, same.
I'm cutting my thumb off and putting it in the ground.
Can I do 2 thumbs down?
Yes.
I'll do all digits down.
William?
Can't do a thumbs up or down, but I can give it a out of 10 score, 1 out of 10 score. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, and if you guys could not tell from the tone of my voice, I did not particularly like this film.
Whitney, I think you need to be honest and say what you really feel.
Yeah, you should.
Fucking hated it.
Yeah, guys, I fucking hated it. I I feel what's the word I'm looking for? I feel so weird. Like I'm usually able, even if I don't like something, to find something to be like, that wasn't that bad. I liked that idea. I'm struggling right now. Like
Right,
this
so how
is
about we do
We-
that? Let's all say the one or two things, or the list of things we did like about the movie to
we
start off.
were
okay.
we gonna do that or the expectations thing?
Oh, we should do expectations.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do
okay.
expectations.
Alright.
Yeah, so what did you guys expect? Given, I mean, besides knowing that Gons is on the helm again and the marketing, what were you going into this movie expecting? Why don't we start with you, Kyle?
I'm just so my thoughts were I feel I was always kind of like didn't have much faith in this movie because they just had so much trouble like finding a distributor, and all of what they showed for a long time didn't look particularly great. There was just a lot of telltale signs that there wasn't a lot of confidence in this movie. But I do think that the original or the 2006 movie is pretty good, or I've come to enjoy it for a lot of reasons. And I thought like at worst this might be like kind of boring. That was kind of like what I thought would be. It's like it might be kind of
Mm-hmm.
boring. It might not be kind of silent. It might not be Silent Hill 2 totally. But that was about it. I thought it's like it'll probably be fine. Like it'll probably be better than Revelations. But
Yeah. I kind of had similar thoughts to you, Kyle. There was some stuff, like just right off the get-go, what kind of put me on this. I don't know about that. And I know it's kind of lame, but when I saw he was bringing back the Ash, my thought was why? I thought this was a reboot. They were talking about how this was going to be like the film's reboot. It was going to have a connection to the first film or the second film. They're going to start a clean slate. He was going to do an adaptation of his favorite of the series, Silent Hill 2. And in my mind, I'm like, how can you fuck that up? It's a pretty simple story. I always thought it was the most like easy to digest in terms of like normies. You don't have to deal with cult stuff. You don't have to have too many characters or anything like that. It's just a very small, easily digestible story. And I saw that Ash and I went, oh no. Okay, Whitney, don't get all too negative. Maybe it's just like his trademark for Silent Hills. He has the Ash, right? Yeah, so the marketing came through, and they're like, faithful adaptation of Silent Hill 2, one of the most beloved video games. I'm like, all right, okay, faithful. All right, I'm going to take you at your word, Gons. Faithful. That means I was going to see a guy looking for his dead wife in Silent Hill and maybe come to grips of having killed her in a selfish act. All right, let's do this. That's not what I got. Okay.
I expected it to be I expected it to be fine because he did an admirable job with the first movie, and I know his budget was reduced. The visuals looked very evident of that. It looked like a cheap movie, but I'm like, you know what? He did a good job with the cinematography. The story was fine in the first one. The effects, the set design, like all that was pretty decent.
Practical effects. He was going to bring that back. That was another thing that was like, oh, that should look really good. Practical effects again. Yeah.
Yes, I thought that'd be good too, but then we found out he ended up using the Unreal Engine bubble for a lot of it. So I expected it to be fine to decent,
Okay.
Yeah, I hoped.
October, William?
It's for me. I was more than willing to be charitable to this film. Generally, I try to look at game adaptations through both the lens of like, is it a good adaptation, and also is it a good movie? Like 4 or 5 years ago, I wrote a whole editorial about it on Reliant Horror. Where's the line between being mad that this isn't a perfect adaptation and being fine with the fact that it's a good movie? I used references like the first 1993 Jurassic Park has almost fucking nothing to do with the book. There's a couple character names and like the outline is the same, but that's it. But it's a
Actually,
great fucking movie.
sorry, that just reminded me. I watched the latest Jurassic Park film with the Scarlett Johansson, and I was like, are they just reusing scenes from the books that they didn't use before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Resting and
I was surprised
Triceratops.
because
it's great.
I never read the novels before, and like last year I read basically 1 and 2 back to back, and so I was watching this movie. I was just like, oh.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Okay.
if you watch them all in a marathon, all the Jurassic Park sequels are just shit they cut from the first movie that they're finally getting around to.
Yeah, that's
They
what it
use
seemed
barely
like.
anything from that from the second book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, knowing that the first movie was so different. But I thought it was a good movie. Like, it's not amazing, but pretty decent script. I liked the original creatures, like the janitor guy, and I thought, if nothing else, it got the vibe down like perfectly. He understood the shit out of the vibe. And I was like,
vibes.
He's gone on record saying that Silent Hill 2 is his favorite one. If for nothing else,
I don't believe him.
I don't believe him anymore, or at least I don't believe that he understands it. That like, okay, this is going to be different. This will not be Silent Hill 2, but trailers, even though it looked cheap, there was a lot of striking, colorful imagery in them. A lot of very like kind of artistic looking things that neither of the other two movies had ever really tried to do. And I was like, all right, I'm here for this. It's cheap. But then like it got the January release date and I was like, uh-oh. And then the reviews started coming in. And it was at like 6% or something. I was like, uh-oh.
It was slower than Revelation for a bit. I was like, uh-oh.
Then me and my galaxy brain, I'm there. I'm like, listen, I like Downpour. I've played a lot of Book of Memories. I am one of the enlightened ones that can enjoy these things despite their problems.
What about Ascension, dude?
I was wrong. Yeah, also fuck Ascension.
Well, there's elements of Ascension in this movie.
Oh yes, we got the Ascension. We got
a better adaptation of Ascension than it is of Silent Hill 2.
we got the Ascension lover in here, Josh.
I just said that to tease you.
I know. It's our little joke because out of all of us, he's the only one that's watched it.
Yeah, and
like,
it was a bad.
more than once.
Oh my god!
I did it for the sake of climbing that mountain, and I regret every minute.
Yeah. How about you, William? What did you go in as a Silent Hill fan? What were you expecting?
So obviously Christoph Gans is he brought his own sensibility to Silent Hill 2006, and that was very much a filmmaker storyteller perspective, less so on adapting the game, or I think he said this in interviews at the time, his vision of it, right? So you can only ever give your own interpretation of something. And I think that's what he went into Silent Hill 1 doing.
And 2.
So, and I really enjoyed that. Now, it took me a second viewing to kind of like nail how I felt about the first one down. But overall, I really enjoyed it. So, with Return to Silent Hill, I sort of knew what I was getting into, meaning Christoph Gans was going to make his version of Silent Hill 2. And most likely that would diverge from how a lot of people see that story, see those characters, and, see how it looks. Now, I will give him credit for the look of it. I didn't think it looked that cheap. I mean, yeah, he didn't have that much to work with, but the visuals were not the problem with Return. It was just the story. It was the screenplay, and that's the cheapest thing you can fix. Having said that, I'm pretty sure he made the movie he wanted to make. You can argue whether or not the producers, forced him to cut stuff or alter the script, but he's not like a director for hire. He's a guy with real vision. He just gave us his vision of Silent Hill 2 and not maybe perhaps what the fans wanted or what was true to that story.
And it turns out he needs glasses.
Okay.
So yeah,
apparently he's perpetually staring at dog shit.
To wrap up, I expected basically what we got with the first one.
Yeah, but maybe like a cheaper budget, like
But his vision and not necessarily what the fans might expect.
Oh well,
So
we got that.
I can't really argue.
We did.
Yeah.
We sure got that from him. I want to throw it back to Josh and Victoria. Josh, I know you're pretty familiar with Silent Hill. So coming in, what were your expectations, especially since you, in case you guys didn't know, Josh and another Victoria, they did a no beans cut of the 2006 film, where basically they removed all Sean Bean scenes and they kind of just reworked the editing on the film to make a more streamlined, concise Sanho 2006. And I thought they did a very good job. Like, they were able to get rid of the info dump at the very end of the movie where it's like, you did it, Rose. Let me explain Alessa's entire backstory to you in one fell swoop. They decided to instead place it throughout the film, so whenever Rose would go unconscious, she'll get maybe a flashback, a silent flashback to the trauma that Alessa experienced and how the town got to that point. So it was stuff like that. It was really cool to see. So you're really intimate, I guess, with that film, especially since you had to, see parts of it over and over and over again. Going in, what did you expect? What did you expect Silent Hill 2 film from him?
Eating absolute shit on this movie because I was 100% like, okay, he's finally going to be off the chain. He's going to cook. I was a Gon stans, and now I feel like I have to make a public apology to everybody about that.
Oh, no.
Because just a quick correction. It was me and Vivian.
Vivian, sorry. Oh, God.
Yeah,
Two V names.
Early, but it's okay. I know what you meant. But it was me and Vivian worked on it because we had actually seen a re-edit thing of Passengers where it fundamentally changed that film. And we had some free time, and we both really liked. I stand on 2 feet defending the 06 movie. It's a very bad adaptation, but it's a very good thing that he made instead. Had practicals out of this stuff, and once we edited out the Sean Bean stuff and changed the ending and made some ambiguous stuff, I think that movie's good. I think it's maybe a 3.5 as is, and when you edit it, it becomes a 4.5 movie. My personal opinion. It also has one of my favorite shots of all time in film. Where they go from her against the door where they're kicking in and it goes over her head and goes under the bird. Yeah. So
I loved that
they
shot.
Literally forced him, it also becomes this all female led horror movie, which is pretty interesting. It gains a lot of dynamics that just aren't there when the Sean Bean stuff is shoved in. And I'm like, okay, literally and it came out so easily because it felt like, okay, that it was stapled on after they'd filmed most of the stuff. So it's like, okay, now we're not going to have that interference. We're going to have him. He can do really cool visuals. Well, he's made a couple other movies that have interesting visuals. And I'm like, okay, he's going to finally do this. My problem is I didn't realize this was a George Lucas situation where he's a guy that can make striking visuals or a couple cool sequences, but he's been propped up by a lot of talented people. Most of that first movie is written by Roger Avery, and that really shows in this movie. All the cinematography was done by Academy Award-winning cinematographer who does a lot of stuff to Del Toro. He's not in this one. It's just everybody was propping up what little he had, and so I grossly overestimated. And so when I came into this, I'm like, okay, I know it's going to be half the budget, and when you add for inflation, it's actually even less than that. But I thought, okay, he'll at least do some crazy shit. He'll be because he does weird shit in some of his other movies that I have seen. And it's okay, he'll finally let loose. No, that's just wrong. Because here's the thing. I agree with the earlier sentiment. This is in the movie he meant to make, and now he's kind of I think lying a little bit because he realized that he did make his vision. And still
I wanted to bring up the whole producer meddling because he's did some Q&As and now he's blaming that his vision it's not his film because producers forced him to cut stuff so it would be under 2 hours. So we had a kind of a similar producer issue with the first one too, because they're the ones that made him put in the Sean Bean shit, and that was kind of obvious. But yeah, anyway. Revelation was, you can't really, that's not really a Gon's film, but again, producers wanted
it's the same producers on all three of the movies, and I think they had a lot more control over that director because they weren't as big as Gon's at the
they forced her to do the connection to the first movie and had to have action and more like a Resident Evil film apparently.
But I think this is Gon's visions because I think some of his claim Konami made me change anything. I don't think that's fucking true. I think he either chicken shit out because what's clear is from every interview I've seen since, because even then I had some mixed feelings once I saw this and I saw how bad it was, but it perfectly adjusts every key point. All the most iconic scenes of this game are snipped out, but in a very consistent way. And now having watched this 4 times, God help me, I see is that he just played the game and fundamentally misunderstood it, and he made that vision of his misunderstanding. If you follow what his stupid idea where he thinks all these characters are the same and they're all the same and there's no difference, then these changes make sense. Oh, we're going to cut this and we're going to add a cult, but it's okay at all, and make them all one character. But that makes sense because they're already one character in the game. That's not true. But if he thinks that, then all of a sudden his decisions make a lot of sense. But yeah, anyway, I went into a lot of expectations. There's a couple visuals I like, and what's really clear to me is that he can make a couple of sequences and visuals, doesn't know how the hell to write to connect those. And when you let him write, that was the fundamental flaw there, because he can't do that. And frankly, he's not.
Well,
doesn't get the
it's
game
not
in the
just
first place
him
on top
writing
of
it. There was two other people attached to the screenplay, right? Yeah,
people
it's
with basically
Christoph,
no credits.
Christoph Gans,
And-
Sandra Vaughan, and
Mhm.
William Schneider. I don't know those other two people, but yeah, so he wasn't alone with writing it.
Well,
But
I
so
think
you-
one of them's the person that helped him with his Beauty and the Beast movie, and the other person just has only done one other film. So I think they just came in to smooth his stuff, and to kind of give him what he asked for. I think I
So-
could be
He
wrong,
has
and
a
I'm open
story
to being
credit
wrong.
as well,
I think,
right?
yeah, it's we should probably
Well, I was gonna.
Victoria.
If I was going to say Victoria, it's I wanted to get her in there. So you
Yep.
had really no. I mean, did you have anything going into this movie besides, oh, I'm going to be watching a movie about Silent Hill 2, and it's Silent Hill, and I know that's Whitney and Josh's jam. What were your thoughts going in blind?
Oh yeah, no, thanks. Well, and I had previously seen 2006 Silent Hill, and I had seen the superior cut that Josh and Vivian made. But going in for the Silent Hill 2 game itself, I had very limited knowledge. I had maybe briefly watched a few scenes with the playthrough y'all did earlier when the remastering came out, last year, and I had a couple key peak things, I knew a pillow was involved because our friend Kyle has a pillow prop, or not prop, but piece. And I love animals. I knew about the Mira at the end, and so that always made me giddy and wanted to know more, just because I just thought that Shiba Inu was very cute.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very limited in my knowledge of the game. I knew James was the protagonist, and I knew it had something to do with Mary, but that was about it. And I mean, coming in, I will say, with a very large grain of salt here, it's been 20 years since 2006. A lot's happened with horror in that time, horror movies and horror films. And I think going in, I had the knowledge, obviously, that this has been mentioned, that the budget was a lot less, but I still had, I think, some expectations that maybe Gons had grew in terms of putting to film horror with, most horror nowadays, it seems it's that elevated horror, which is high concept, high texture, high stakes. And I knew, with obviously the source material, if he were to stay true, which it seemed like with the marketing the past 1 to 2 years, he was going to be very true, that, there were going to be moments of my expectations of this as a horror film that maybe would be less or dipped just because it having to stay with the story. And so, again, I was expecting sort of a just a lesser elevated horror, so to speak, just, based off of what I've seen in my life with horror and how it's evolved and what the current trend is and everything.
Yeah, so I'd say going in, we all had some hope, right? Going in, it wasn't oh god, this is gonna be complete dog shit. We still had that glimmer of hope. I gotta be honest, okay, guys. It's been weeks since I saw this film twice, back to back.
Sorry.
I'm still very angry about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Remember the HD collection? Yeah.
Yep.
How angry I was over that? This is the
Oh, yeah.
HD collection times 10. I felt, and it's so silly to say this, but it felt like a betrayal, because he, in his interviews, kept going on and on about how he understands gamers. He loves these games. He pores over them. He understands. He's not like those other directors who don't give a shit about what they're making. He's going to be faithful. And oh man.
Yeah.
I am embarrassed this even came out. I wish it wasn't made. If someone tells me that they saw Return to Silent Hill I just die a little inside because I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna think this is what Silent Hill 2 is. It's not at all. And I'm sure those in like CJ and Josh, they can tell you my physical reaction to seeing this movie. I was just slinking further and further in my seat, covering my face. I was that like,
Yeah.
and I hate saying that. I like to be positive. I can't.
You had your hand held in front of your face the entire time. You couldn't even look at me.
I was like, no.
I've said on this podcast, like before, like the Bloober Team remake came out, that I was very apprehensive about it. I was really nervous about how they were going to tackle some of the things, and that's in the original game, the Silent Hill 2, rather, not the original game. But I was really worried about it, and then I was proven wrong. They did a really incredible job. Bloober Team did an incredible job with the remake. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is the worst vision I had for the remake was not as fucking abysmal as this movie was. This movie is one of the absolute worst movies I've ever seen. Complete yeah, it actually made me like I went on a trip to Australia for 2 weeks since I've seen this movie, and I'm still pissed off.
This is why we were delayed. We were waiting for Kyle to get back from down under.
Yeah, but I saw it with a really good friend, and he had played the remake, but that's all he knew about Silent Hill when he went and he watched the 2006 movie. And I remember the energy in the theater was like the only people that were there were like survival horror fans. And the reason I know this is because it was like goth kids, and like one of them had like an umbrella corporation like purse. Like, okay, these are fans.
Yeah.
And you could just feel the energy that everyone was just like, this is a rancid, wretched film in every measurable sense. It's a abysmal adaptation of the game, and it is a fucking god awful, horrible film on its own right. This is the worst Silent Hill thing to me. I have not seen Ascension, so it doesn't matter. But this is the worst Silent Hill thing, and yeah, I was stunned by how shit it was.
I want to add, like, I went in fully expecting that there could be story changes, that he would make his own, his own story with these characters. And I'm like, okay, just like the first film. And I'm willing to accept that. I'm perfectly fine with an adaptation being something different. But like Kyle just said, on its own, it is an incomprehensible, awful fucking movie. If you went into that movie without the context of the games, you're like, what is he doing there? How did he get over there? What's this? It's just jumping from.
Who's Maria?
It's bad. You introduce characters that last all of 5 fucking minutes. Not even 5 minutes. Eddie was there for 30 seconds. And like, what was his purpose?
I can tell you from the novel. But that's why Victoria's here. Victoria.
I had so many moments during that film, seeing it twice, again, within 24 hours, where I was like, I am so confused. Saying that out loud probably at least 6 times, and internally screaming it throughout the whole process and after. I mean, I at some points I got where maybe Gons was going, but yes, it was extremely confusing with the way the cutscenes were, with the addition of these different plot points that after I had explained by you, Whitney, and Josh, what really was to happen or what is wrong, I was just flabbergasted.
Yeah, I it just seemed like what was it, you, Kyle, who compared it to like a music video, or was your friend or whatever?
The last half of the movie especially it has music video vibes, but especially it feels like when you would go into a Blu-ray and you go to the deleted scenes section and you hit play all. That's what it felt like to me. Like there was like no cohesion, nothing made sense. It was like I've played Silent Hill 2 I don't know how many times. I have obsessed about this game, debated it, whatever, for it hurts to say this, 2 decades.
Yep.
And I had no idea what was happening at points of this movie. Like I didn't know until I was talking to Whitney that I guess James, because I thought James killed Mary in this movie at the end of the movie. And then like, apparently that was a
No.
flashback because this dog shit movie has no sense of completion.
Did the shitty beard not clue you in, Kyle?
Yeah,
Come
I was just gonna
on.
say that.
Okay. Yeah. So my issue, and I've seen people make this claim, and I want to know what you guys think, because I think it's a horrible comparison, and I feel bad thinking that way. But a lot of people are comparing Gonz's Return to Silent Hill to Silent Hill 2 is like Shattered Memories is to Silent Hill
Fuck
1.
no.
Absolutely not.
And I find,
Like
I feel it's a disservice to say that, because yes, Shattered Memories is very different from Silent Hill 1, right? They do have like a loosely the same plot where a father's looking for his daughter in similar spaces, and there's similar characters, right? Except Shattered Memories turns things on its head, and it becomes like a gut-wrenching story about confronting the loss at a young age and not being able to move on. It's her like living as her idealized father, and that wasn't really who he was, and it becomes like a more introspective story.
And
Its own thing, and this is not what it was. This is, I feel like it's like a very surface level comparison, I guess I should say, but I want to hear that.
I think it's worth pointing out that also, like, you go into Shattered Memories knowing what it is. This isn't Silent Hill 1. This is a reimagining. This is its own thing. It was not marketed with some guy in a chair going, this is an accurate recreation of the original Silent Hill 1 told from my heart. It wasn't that.
No, he didn't say accurate. He said faithful.
Faithful,
yeah.
true. Faithful.
I think he thinks it is, actually.
I think he
It's
thinks
shocking.
it is, of course. And the other half of it is that being different is not the same as being disrespectful. Harry Mason, as presented in Shattered Memories, is different, but not in a way that feels like it thinks the original Harry Mason sucks or something.
Yeah.
Harry of Shattered Memories is just a guy. And so is the original Harry. They're both just guys on their own journeys, and it doesn't treat him like some cartoon character, and it doesn't make him an asshole, and it doesn't make him a loser.
Well, depending on what you look at,
Okay,
he
fair enough,
can be
fair
an
enough.
asshole. But the
Look at
point
them
is,
titties on the wall.
but the point is, like, the changes to his character depends on the players playing it, right? So there's a bit of ourselves being represented depending on how you're controlling Harry. So it has like other layer to it. I mean, it's not just this vibes only retelling of Silent Hill 1. It's Silent Hill 1 without the cult. And we all know the cult is a majority of Silent Hill 1. So taking that away, you got a story of a dad looking for his lost daughter. And that's what it was. And we knew going in it was not going to be a remake. Now, if Blooper came out and their remake was just Shattered Memories, I'd be fucking pissed, because that's not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a remake of the 1999 game, my fave. Yeah.
But even if it's an adaptation, like there's a lot of adaptation. You know, October brought it up earlier. Jurassic Park is not a very faithful adaptation of the book. The still incredible movie, Lord of the Rings movies, very different from the books, frankly. Still very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Exactly.
there's something. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say, just continue from what I was saying earlier. Like, I would even if Gans said it was a reimagining, and he fully went in on this whole thing that they're all like fragments of their same souls. The Angela and Maria and Mary and Laura, they're all parts of her soul, and Eddie is part of James's soul. Like, even though I don't agree with that, if his intent was to have this whole reimagined perception of the story, and he did it competently, if he did it as a standalone story that made sense, the characters had clear motivations, it flowed well, okay, I can appreciate the movie for what it is as its own thing. Goes back to the Shattered Memories comparison, where like, oh, it's just he's doing stuff with the characters and the themes. Okay, cool. But he did it fucking poorly, and also misrepresented what he was doing by saying faithful adaptation. So it's like so many layers of, he did this very poorly, he also lied.
Yeah, that's I think that's where my mentality of betrayal, and it's so silly to say that it is just a video game adaptation. I'm being hyperbolic here, but all yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm coming across. Guys, I've been in this since 1999. I've been discussing Silent Hill 2 for years now, over 2 decades. I've seen insane theories over the years. I've seen like blow-ups between what is canon, what isn't canon. I felt like I've been through the trenches of what is Silent Hill 2? What is James's motivation? Who the hell is Laura? And who the hell is Eddie? I've heard this over the years, different views. This movie, what gets me so mad is it's fundamentally not the story.
Yeah.
It is
Not.
It's Gon's okay, maybe I'm being mean, but when I saw this, it was like Gon's is like, so Silent Hill 2 is good, but you know what? I can make it better. And him making it better was forcing in some stupid cult that no one understands the motivations for, not the actors, not the person who wrote the goddamn novelization, because he had to make up shit to make it make sense. And the thing that gets me is Q&A. I don't know if you guys saw this. He did a showing, and then he answered questions from the audience. And someone on
Reddit.
Yeah, someone on Reddit was very kind and did translations. And one person asked, so why did you get Mary to ask him to kill her? You know, like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, you know, I just didn't have enough time to do it justice, if it's his selfish decision justice. And I went, dude, that is the crux of the entire game. If you cannot find the time to explain James's motivations for what he did, maybe you don't make the goddamn film adaptation.
I think that one through line we need to establish really quickly is that because it's really easy to pick apart, like, you know, the cinematography shit or the special effects are shit or whatever else, but I mean it is. But there's, again, when you think about like the best, quote unquote, the best adaptations, like Lord of the Rings makes huge changes from the story, from the novels, and yet it still keeps the core stuff that's important.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of it, because when you're making a movie, especially, you have to make cuts, because you know a movie can only be
2
like,
hours.
2 hour, 2 or 3 hours.
And this is
But
like a
here's the thing.
12-hour
Here-
game or whatever.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this that has gotten me so upset. The hook of Silent Hill 2 is a man gets a letter from his allegedly dead wife 3 years after she died, and he goes there. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know going in. Gons couldn't be fucking asked to try and retain that. He couldn't even have the most iconic line in the whole fucking series. In my restless dreams, I see that town. He
Silent
could
Hill.
not be bothered. He put in a bunch of weird rape shit. Like, oh, what an ugly fucking
Well,
movie.
you'll be happy to know, Kyle, it's on the back of the novelization.
Oh.
Yeah, it says, I have the book right here. It says, in my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. Return to Silent Hill brings the iconic psychological horror franchises back to the big screen. When James receives a mysterious letter from his lost love Mary, he is drawn to Silent Hill, a once familiar town now consumed by darkness. As he searches for her, James faces monstrous creatures and unravels a terrifying truth that will push him to the brink of survival.
So, long story short, that excuse that he doesn't have time. Well, why is there a whole gigantic cult subplot? Which it's not the cult from the other movies. It's not the cult from the games, and there's no reason for to do anything other than wants to get his like weird voyeuristic like extra violence against women scenes in for the movie for some fucking reason.
Thinly veiled fetish of eating jelly off of
like
women.
like I'm
No,
like,
they're
I'm
not eating jelly. They're eating her blood, apparently.
Yeah.
It looks
yeah.
like jelly.
There's a point where like you can have, obviously, like, yeah, it's a movie, you can always, like, these things go wrong, like even the very best directors have misses, but like there's parts here where there's just some clear fucking arrogance. And even, you know, Whitney said this lightly, but like I've heard so many people debate about this game over the years, and I think I can go back to almost any of them and they probably would have a better understanding of this core story than this movie did.
Okay, you know what I think we should do? Victoria, can you please just give me, what do you think, what is the story here? What is the, if you can give me a quick little summary, what happens in this film?
Oh, in the film, or
In the film,
what I think?
what you think this film was about? What is
God.
the?
Well, I believe that this film is about James, who, well, James is having flashbacks and calling to go to the town of Silent Hill to search for his wife, Mary, and
His
you know,
wife?
oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. His girlfriend, Mary. His girlfriend. I apologize. That is after being corrected a couple times.
It's okay.
Technically his ex-girlfriend.
Yes, his ex-girlfriend.
His ex-girlfriend. And throughout his journey in the town, he's coming to terms with her death and why it's come about. And we have this, this cult plot thrown in. I mean, to be honest, as somebody who hasn't played the games, like, yeah, since this has come out, I've been taught, Josh has told me, you've told me about everything that's really to happen. It's really hard to describe what the movie's about, just as somebody who's viewing it, with very limited knowledge, even though I do now have knowledge. So yeah, that's, and obviously it's him coming to terms with her death, and in the movie's viewpoint, why she asked him to kill her in the movie's viewpoint. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it's getting me sort of frustrated trying to explain it, because it's very ludicrous, and I just, yeah, there's a lot to say on that.
So would you say the town is abandoned?
I have no idea because
Okay.
the way
is it all in his head?
The way it's now, I will say, I felt as a viewer watching this film, it felt like it was banging you over the head that it was all in his head. The way that they used Pyramid Head and had Pyramid Head the way Pyramid Head was used sort of as like a pawn in his fights whenever he got overwhelmed with rage or sadness or whatever you want to call it. That's what it appeared to be in the film as somebody viewing this. So yeah.
I mean, they did make sure to show that it was him under the helmet a couple times there.
Of course. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I guess we should, in case people are a little bit like did not see the film. I don't know why you're listening to this if you didn't listen to the film. But essentially, movie Return to Silent Hill, we see James. He's an artiste, right? A tortured artist, right? He's in a bar. He's drinking. He's sad. He's remembering the first time he met the love of his life, where he was smoking weed with the top down.
Contrast, because he's a cool guy riding a cool car, smoking a cool blunt, and then all of a sudden he's sad. What could have gone wrong?
So he meets. It's a really it's a cute scene. He meets Mary by running over her luggage, and then she's trying to catch a bus who can't be bothered to wait a few extra seconds and drives away. So
I just watched and I counted it. It was exactly 22 seconds from off-screen honk of the bus to when the bus leaves.
I hate that so much.
Oh, also, we're leaving out. Apparently, Mustang paid for a portion of this movie because they sure showed that logo a fucking lot.
Oh yeah, I did remember before actually seeing the movie that I heard like whisperings of it's like a car commercial, or it's like a music video and whatnot.
Oh, when he was driving down the highway, it should have been like I was getting like the new Pontiac Sunfire, like that kind of like car commercial. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
You forget about your dead wife.
So
this is a gun self-insert in my opinion. Like, this is me. I'd be cool at this.
So James,
real men are like.
So James, he's found his new muse. It's Mary. They fall quickly in love. He decides to move to the town of Silent Hill to be closer to her because he lives in the novel. I don't know if this is part of the original script, but he was going to the town. He was kind of like in a funk, trying to break out of his artist block type of stuff. He needed new surroundings, so he was going to just. One of his artist buddies gave him the idea. Oh, you should go check out this town over here. you'll get your artistic mojo back. Instead, he found the love of his life. He decides to move. He's like staying in the Lakeview Hotel, and then he finally moves in with Mary. And Mary is very secretive, but she's so beautiful, and he's just so caught up in her. And she seems to have this weird connection with these group of people who are way too into her day-to-day life. They
It's
see
her book club. They're really nosy.
So there's like she doesn't have her father's dead. She doesn't have a mother, siblings, but there's this group of people very into her and making sure she's happy. She's very famous in town, but she's keeping something from James, and he doesn't know what it is, but he follows her, and what he witnesses just breaks him. This weird like cult like ceremony below the ground where she's given a liquid and then blood just starts oozing from like every orifice, and then those same people are all licking it up and going to ecstasy for some reason. He cannot abide by that. So he just sees the love of his life kind of against her will. It was pretty clear she wasn't into this, but she was just going along with it, being abused basically by a mob of people. And he's like, we're leaving right now, very angrily, right now. She's like, I can't go. These are the people I know. They're my family. They're my only connection. He's like, well, I can't stay. And he leaves her alone with them. And then, I guess a few years later, she dies, and he feels guilty about it. And so he goes back to Silent Hill to find her. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it's important to point out, because we forgot just that fast, Jimmy doesn't know she's dead yet. He doesn't find that out until about 75% through the movie.
God, every fundamental thing is wrong. I hate it so much.
Not only that, but like the big reveal is no longer that she died and that he killed her. With the shift with the cult thing, the big dramatic midpoint break is that he abandoned her, and the fact that he kills her is like this extra add-on preamble afterwards. Like it's not the big revelation. It's not the source of his guilt. It's just something that arbitrarily happened because it happened in the game.
And he's so broken up about this that he's going back to town, and everyone he meets is like a representation of either himself and or Mary in these random human forms. And it just, oh God.
One of my favorite parts of this movie is that Maria just kind of walks into the frame, like with no fanfare and nothing, and she's like, "Hey,
I've been watching you."
And I'm just going to point out.
It just cuts away.
And I'm just going to point out, why is there a Maria in this story? She's not a manifestation of James's like pent up like his like Maria in the game is like a hypersexualized version of his wife from this like awkward guy, and that's what he wants Mary to be. Part of him wants Mary to be that. Why is there a Maria in this story? That's not what
she's
happens.
supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. And she's just there for 15 minutes, and then she gets brutally fucking killed because it's a woman. So Christoph Gans is like, well, we can't have that.
With the phallic sword.
Oh God, it's so hard for me not to just say fuck this movie over and over.
I want to go back to that. I was wondering if it was just me, but I felt it was very mean-spirited how she died.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying that she doesn't go through hell in the game. She's brutally killed multiple times. But this was just one and done, and it felt like like he didn't care. He didn't care. James didn't care because she was in his way, I guess, in finding Mary in this movie.
She wasn't. She didn't do anything to slow down.
She wanted to leave. She's like, you didn't find her. We should leave together now. And he's like, I never made that promise.
She wanted him to leave because he hadn't realized what had happened. I think there's a line where she says in the maze, you can stop this whenever you want.
Yeah.
So she is trying to get him to realize, if you want to really, I don't know, maybe break it down this way, that she was the part of him that was trying to come to grips with the truth of what he had done. And she keeps doing it, and then he eventually says no and kills her.
But it felt very mean-spirited because James in the game was always horrified when she died in front of him. Because it was torture for him. It was there to remind him, hey, dude, this isn't your first rodeo. You need to
I
remember what you did.
I have a
Message.
question specifically for Victoria. Victoria,
Hmm.
if just watching this movie, would you ever get the illusion that Maria is supposed to be the town's manifestation of something from James's mind about his like idealized version of his his girlfriend, I guess? Like, did you
Oh,
get
no.
any hint of? Yeah, exactly. This is
No,
what I'm
no.
saying. Like, we
0.
don't need to give this guy credit for anything because he clearly just shoved shit in and like didn't think about the because like Maria's role in the original Silent Hill 2, like it's not here, and we only know that she's a manifestation of the town because we played the game.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there
and
was a
then, yeah,
couple visual clues, I guess you could say, with when they were in the elevator and you saw her, like when she got stabbed, you saw her eyes get all cloudy and whatnot. It looks similar
Sure,
to, you know, the
sure,
in
but
water
also
shit.
but also Maria exists in the game because of like pent-up feelings James also has against Mary. He doesn't have that in this story, this version of the story. Like she shouldn't be in this version. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like Maria's just there.
She even dies so that way she can come back and later and be scariest part where she's just being normal, and that just doesn't happen in this movie. So like, there's not even a point to her death.
No, she never returns, and it's like it's just another moment to hammer home that guess who's under the mask? It's James. It's him. It's his angry and brutal side, killer side, I guess.
So
So
he's not killing this one. She literally holds his hand down.
that's where it's leading into.
Yeah.
In this movie, another thing that it seems like small potatoes, but what really irked me was James in the game. It's very morally gray. Depending on the player, they can come away from playing Silent Hill 2 thinking, oh, you know, James was doing this for the right reason. He just wouldn't want to watch his wife suffer. She was sick, and he feels guilty about making that choice. Or you could come away thinking, oh, wow, James is pretty awful and selfish, and he got tired and snapped, and now he feels a bit guilty. This one, all his agency of what happened to Mary has been taken away. It's none of it is his fault. None of it is his fault. The worst he did was leaving her alone with her abusers to like get the fuck out of town. That was the worst he did. He came back and she's like, I want you to end it. And holds his hand over her mouth. Holds his hand there. He didn't want to kill her. She forced him.
Even
Forced.
that scene is supposed to be like horrific in like both the original game and
She's supposed to
remake.
fight back, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She didn't
And
want to
then-
die.
And
He
in the
killed her.
movie, like in the movie, it looks like like Mary's got a nosebleed and he's trying to help with it with the rag. It's so every single part of this movie.
And
is
he couldn't even use the pillow. And like
Couldn't
even
even do it.
the littlest things, he couldn't even be bothered to incorporate everything iconic. You think of Silent Hill 2 is missing in this. We don't have any of the iconic lines. He doesn't even say, you look like my Mary. Do I look like your girlfriend? No, my wife.
She doesn't introduce herself the first
She
time.
doesn't.
Maria
Like, who
is
is
the
this?
one that points
We're not
it
going
out.
to
Yes.
say anything.
And Maria's the one that
Way
goes,
later.
you could say it. You could say it. I look like her. I look like Mary, don't I? It's like, what the fuck is this? She doesn't. Every.
Go ahead, October. Go ahead.
Mm.
Well, I was gonna say, I think like, you know, when you start this movie, you might be like, you know, oh, Jim smoking the blunt in his Mustang. That's like the first warning sign. It's like I don't know about that because it's like, oh, it's happening before the story. We haven't gotten there yet. Shocking, weird, whatever. I think everything in this movie, you know what you're in for when it gets to the letter, which is like 10 minutes into the movie or something. And
Yeah.
if you've played Silent Hill 2, you know the letter. We all know the letter. We could probably recite the goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everything you need to know about this movie is that the letter ends with, I went and found it, but I'm begging you, please come back to our place.
Oh, he
Not our
couldn't even
special place, our place.
Yeah.
Which made me so like confused and weirded out at that. And I'm like, uh-oh, something's wrong. Until it's revealed that by our place, she means literal, their apartment. Come back to our place. Like, The letter's so casual.
Well, no, actually, it's not meaning their apartment. October.
Oh.
It's meaning the Lakeview Hotel, because that's where he killed her.
Oh, is that where he killed her? I
Yes.
thought he was back in her apartment.
No,
Like,
that's
forgetting
a room in the Lakeview Hotel.
Boy,
they-
they
but
sure
the-
as shit didn't make that clear.
yeah, exactly. Like that's like there's so many things where like, why is this so confusing?
What
That's a good thesis
what the
statement,
fuck
though,
does she
that the
mean?
opening
Our
letter-
place.
What
I
about the
lived
opening?
there once.
Oh, I
Will?
was just gonna say the thesis statement for that whole movie. I noticed that too, where it's not our special place anymore; it's just our place, and this movie ended up being that, not the special place, just the place, and so that's the through line through the whole movie is this isn't going to be special. It's just going to be it's just a place. It's like just a room.
Yeah.
So,
And before we started the podcast, I was talking a little bit with Kyle, and to me, I mean, I actually thought the first part where he meets Mary and visually the overlook looked great, and the Toluca Lake, looking out onto the town, that looked great. That looked just like the game visually. So I was like, okay. To me, though, the first warning sign, besides it was very distracting not to hear special place. It's almost like someone was like, no, we're gonna cross. Like he put it in and then he crossed it out. It's like, how could you write that and not at least have maybe
Yeah.
not Restless Dreams, but special place? It's literally a
it's
special place.
iconic,
Just put it in the
iconic
movie.
line there, guys. Missing.
It will.
But to me,
almost,
when I saw when the first appearance of the psychologist, I was like, why do we need that? Like it was kind of a red flag, and just like with the Sean Bean stuff in the 2006 version, I hate whenever they cut away from the town. I think it's a very bad idea once you're in the town at least to cut away from it, because it's like, the whole point, especially in the games, is once you're there, and maybe you leave, maybe you don't, but you never cut away from the town. That you lose any kind of power you have with any kind of build up the second you cut. And he's like making phone calls inside the town to the psychologist. I was like,
Yeah.
one, why do we need her? Because we don't really.
I can answer that. Gon said that he put her in. She's like the only real person he talks to in the movie, and it's there to help, like the way he filmed her, like fractured visuals, is trying to drive home the point of his fractured mind.
Right, and she's very much Dr. Exposition, because she's the one that says,
She's been dead.
you're not.
Yeah.
And is it that he knew it and he forgot? Because it seems like she's reminding him later when he appears in the hospital right before the end.
Yeah, it's like he
Like,
because he
feeling
got
it's
that.
not
I was gonna say, because he got that letter, he's convinced that she's not actually dead, and she's there to throw cold water on him. She becomes the Laura in this story, the role Laura
even
had.
though there's already a Laura. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so
just
the whole thing with him appearing back in the hospital. What do you guys think about that? Like, is this all in his mind? Like he hasn't even left?
I mean,
I
that's
think it is.
I assume that's the
the most
idea.
confusing part to me.
where things are going
Kind of
downhill. That
dictates everything else.
when he returns to the other world version, and like they
He
disappear.
makes it. The other
It's
world
like-
is his mind.
Yeah, I think that's what it's trying to drive home, that everything he's experiencing in the movie is not happening.
Yeah, I don't think anything
Even though
real
that doesn't
happens
make
after
sense
he
if you
falls
do the
asleep in the
math.
car. Having rewatched it, I think once he goes to sleep in the car, including the return to the hospital, because he's in the Silent Hill Hospital in that middle section, is entirely in his head. So the psychiatrist is real at the start when he's talking to her after the bar, but is not real any point after he falls asleep in the car.
my question is, why is this in the story? Like this
Yeah,
is
I don't think it makes sense
Because-
either way, whether it's all in his head or it is partially, but it's not. Like if you do the math, no version of that works. So then that means did he even meet Mary, or did she really die? Like it throws into question all these other stuff that happened.
Well, I think it's there to help, like, maybe drive home that the characters he's interacting with are all like figments or parts of the imagination, like parts of
Yeah,
Mary
I
or
think
parts
it's
of
sort
himself.
a bullshit, like it was all in his head kind of thing. That's
You know-
supposed to be
Yeah.
driving her.
I should thank Christoph Gans, because I've always wondered what a really bad Xerox copy of Jacob's Ladder that someone wiped their ass with was like. Thank you.
Yeah, it is trying to be Jacob. I mean,
No,
okay.
it's Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, 'cause she
Wow.
supposed to be an angel, maybe the angel guy that gives them massages.
Yeah, I on my letterboxed review for this, I said that this movie thinks it's Jacob's Ladder, but it's ultimately the multiple endings of Clue together in a
True.
row.
True.
All right. So I think my problem is none of the characters were who they were in the game. Like, I couldn't even see James in the main character. This seemed like a completely different dude. It's not James. It's like
Jim.
well, it's
Jim, yeah.
Jim, right?
Mhm.
Jimmy boy. He didn't even act. He's too cool for school, I guess. That's too cool for school. James is in the movie.
Angsty, too.
None of. I think that's what got me mad is because what I was seeing was with at least with the 2006 film, right? It's easy to separate from the first game, right? Because now there's a woman protagonist, right? It's not Harry, clearly. It's Rose. Sharon, it's not Cheryl. Different names, different faces, a different kind of motivation for going to the town. Okay, it's a ghost town in this universe. It's easy to separate it. But this one, it's like they have the same names. They're going to the same places, but they're like different. They're not the characters. They're like if someone played the game 20 years ago and is trying to remember the plot of Silent Hill 1 and maybe gets, oh, guy was looking for a loved one in the town, but I don't really remember why. Oh, and there's these other people here. I guess they were just part of, clearly it was part of her or a different part of her personality or whatever. Just hearing
Lately say that was one of their initial ideas that they
he
ended
said
up not using for the original.
yeah, like I think it was Akira who mentioned in an interview because Akira is saying that
Akira,
he enjoyed the film. He did the music for this movie, which by the way, I'm very disappointed in the soundtrack. I don't know about you guys, but I
It's very
got
sleepy.
Yeah, there's barely any music in the actual
was
movie.
barely any
except for the
music,
credits.
and when there was
A
music,
lot of it was from free.
he used Silent Hill 3 tracks, which made me go, "That's not Silent Hill 2."
There's a
So-
track from Shattered Memories in there too.
It
The movie ends with one of Heather's songs at the end.
yeah, Letter from the Lost Days, and it's just
That
like
has nothing to do with this story.
no,
Yeah, but it has the word letter in it, so that must mean James, right?
yeah. So hearing
Letter or just a letter.
so I was kind of I think this is why I was just so like hurt coming out of that movie. I was just like this wasn't anything. They didn't even use Silent Hill 2 tracks. There was barely any Akira music in there. The characters, nobody acted like their characters. Everything iconic from that game was removed or changed. Like now it's 3:18 is the time she died, and that was her room in the Lakeview Hotel, and that was their apartment number, and he doesn't use a pillow, no special place, no, do I look like your girlfriend? No, no, I'm not your Mary.
That drove me the
So
most
less
because this
diet
movie
Silent Hill
punishes
2,
you.
more Silent Hill 2 0.
Yeah, it, and what really frustrates me is I'm seeing a lot of people who enjoyed the film, and I'm happy for you. I wish I could, but I think I've spent too much time in Silent Hill 2 as it is in the game. I've replayed that game I don't know how many times, discussed it for years and years. I cannot be satisfied with this. It's not even a good adaptation. It's not even a good movie. There's nothing for me to cling on to here. It's just it's been spit in the
Would you
face.
say the one positive that you could take away from this is that as bad as the movie is, it will still get new fans to go, oh, I wonder what the original is like or the remake,
But
and
what?
you
No.
can play that.
No.
It made $3 million at the box office. Nobody's seen this fucking movie.
No, actually, William, I'm embarrassed. If someone is not already familiar with Silent Hill 2, I am pit in my stomach. It just a rock.
So like
In
younger
there.
people. Remember when we went to the convention and you were surprised it was a lot of younger people that were coming to?
Yeah.
So like say a 14-year-old who, the remake just came out, and they haven't played it yet, but they see the movie and they're like, well, that wasn't great, but maybe the game's better. Just like, to me, that new the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein was very disappointing. And I'm like, well, maybe it will get people to read the original book and see what the differences are, and then they'll like the book. So the same kind of thing with the new movie. Maybe they didn't like it, but they
No.
they were inspired enough to play the real games and get the real story from that. I think to me that's at least some positive you can.
What the only positive I can take away from this film is the fact that he wanted to make it is what helped jumpstart this new renaissance of Silent Hill games. Because it's him going to the producers at Konami, like, hey, I'm really interested in doing another Silent Hill film. And them going, well, if we're going to do a movie, we should probably, put some games out. It's been a while. That is the only good thing.
So basically what you're saying, what I'm hearing is Christoph Gans is the savior of the Silent Hill renaissance.
Unfortunately.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, like
that's the only thing I can like about it. Honestly,
the podcast.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed it exists. I wish it wasn't made. I would have been fine if it got canceled.
I am glad that Angie the doll from Resident Evil Village got a new job as Laura's. What the fuck was that? Why did Laura have a monster?
I can tell you. So apparently, because Mary's father would rape her, she got pregnant, and it's one of her aborted babies.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I saw that movie twice, and the second time I still didn't know what that baby represented until I found that
People
out.
in the theater laughed.
Because it wasn't just a baby; it was like a corpse baby.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a smash doll.
It's the thing that made the most sense to me because it's the last shot of the movie. In the end credits, it's the last thing you see before it's just credits. So it's like, okay, the baby's like a rape thing or something. Jesus.
Wait, what? Doesn't the movie end on the shot of Toluca Lake?
Oh, just talking about the credit sequence.
The credits do that fancy
yeah,
where they recreate, Maria from the album cover
shots
and
that were
everything.
supposed to be in the movie but weren't in the movie.
But the very last shot of that montage is of the gross zombie baby.
I forgot about that.
What were the reactions in your theater going experience? For us, there was a lot of laughter when it was not. That was not what he was going for. The theater lost it when James appeared with his beard.
Oh yeah.
Because it looked really bad, and
it was fine when it was dark and he was painting. They got away with that.
Yeah, but when he
show him full on, it's like, guys, just have him. If you want to have that,
have him grow some scruff. Yeah.
Yeah, just some stubble, or you didn't even really need that. You could establish that dialogue that it's been. Just do. God, it was so terrible.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a remnant of the Eddie subplot, I guess.
Yeah, so I was going to bring that up. Apparently, Eddie was basically came, he kicked James, and then got the fuck out of Dodge, and he never returned. Well, he was supposed to return in the Lakeview hotel sequence after he saw Laura become like Pennywise and stuff. He goes and he's in like the kitchen area of the hotel, and Eddie's there kind of just eating rotten like meat, maggot-filled meat and stuff from cans of food, and he
talking about this movie sounds like you took too much melatonin and that's the dream you had.
Hold on. I let me look this up.
They shot that scene, right? Because supposedly
they did shoot it. So it was supposed to, by the end of the scene, you're supposed to realize that, like Laura and Angela, Eddie is like another part of James himself, and that's where he had that bushy beard. It was like great big bushy beard. That's why he has that beard at the end.
Such a slip.
Here we go. I have the book open in front of me. Yeah, so he's eating moldy clumps of meat, dozens of eyeballs rolling in the muck, all irises oriented on James. He goes,
My favorite
you
stuff
shouldn't,
Hill too. Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have listened to that little girl, Eddie advised, licking sticky chunks of meat from his fingertips. She's gonna get you hurt. When Eddie's gaze fell on the meat cleaver in James's hands, he flashed a knowing smile. Shrugging, Eddie said, I was only trying to help you. Oh yeah, James said. Help me what? Help protect you, Eddie replied. The things you saw, Jimmy. The things you did. He shook his head in an admiring disbelief. What was it like? Killing that bitch that wouldn't stop following you around. I didn't do anything to her. Eddie cut off his protest. "Oh yeah, you did, Jimmy boy. You killed her. Admit it." "I didn't." "Come on," Eddie cajoled. "Just admit it. You only existed in my head." Eddie scoffed. "Yeah, right, in the head of an asshole like you." James raised the meat cleaver overhead, and the blade seemed to take on added weight by his threatening action. In his mind, he envisioned Pyramid Head raising his great sword. Eddie shielded himself, hands over his face. "Nuh-uh," he said nervously. "You wouldn't dare. You need me to lie to yourself." As if on his own accord, the heavy blade swung down, severing Eddie's fingers, embedding into its cutting edge deep into Eddie's skull. Horrified at what he'd done, James yanked on the handle of the cleaver, straining to pull it from Eddie's head, an action that could never be taken back. Tears welled up in his eyes, and for a moment Eddie's face blurred and warped, resembling James's own face, with blood and brain matter dripping down his forehead and nose. Stunned, James stood there with the bloody cleaver at his side, watching in silence as Eddie's body slowly tipped over, crashing to a small wheeled cart loaded with additional tins. "It needed to be done, James," Laura voice said. He didn't need to look around the cold storage room to know she wasn't physically there with him. "Now go. Mary's still waiting for you." That was his cut scene, to basically just die within moments.
Y'all imagine the cans going everywhere too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the audience laughing at that.
Yeah.
It's something more for that character. It's a second scene. I mean,
And you know,
we didn't get an extra beard scene.
the homeless guy was supposed to be James as well, but apparently the makeup took too long or didn't look very good, so they decided to cut that and just do with
They cut that, not the beard.
The makeup and the effects were so good in this. I'm surprised that there was any bad effects in this at all.
James Homeless Man's Eddie Sunderland.
My favorite part of the movie was when the Otherworld transition happened, and it looked like Resistance: Fall of Man on PS3. I don't know.
What was interesting to me?
The irony of the fact that Pyramid Head is in less Silent Hill 2 movie than
I know.
the other two, where he's not in the games at all. He's not in 1.
Yeah.
He's not in 3.
This was his time to shine in an appropriate
That's like
manner.
He's in 2 scenes of this, right? He's in where he tries to grab James right after he meets Laura, and the end part, or near the end part, where he kills Maria. That's it, right?
Well, don't forget the part where he fought the spider with the big booty.
That's true.
And then they kind of screamed at each other.
Monsters in general, overall, like there's more lying figure, but outside of that, every other monster is less in this than the 06 movie. Even the nurses.
Yeah. And what's funny is so I read the book, the novelization, hoping to get more kind of like, okay, he claims that producer interference kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, ruined his own vision for the film, like, because he felt like he had to make all these cuts. Well, obviously this is going to be based on the original script, and maybe I'll get more context for things. No, I was still just as confused reading this novelization as I was coming out of that movie, not knowing what the fuck I read. The problem was his script from the get-go, and I don't think any amount of additional scenes or re-editing could save it from itself. It was a bad script treatment of this source material.
There's no hold the beans cut you can make out of this movie.
No. There's just a lot of stuff that
new stuff.
Even in the novel, like, he'd move on to scenes. It was mainly like falling unconscious, and just suddenly he'd be in this new area. There's no rhyme or reason. Very confusing. So I know a lot of people are saying producer interference made this a shittier film. I think that's what Gons tried to imply in his Q&A. But no.
It might be less of his vision, but not. Yeah, is he arguing that they compromised it? Because
that's what he argued.
Yeah,
because he had to get it under 2 hours. He said.
Yeah.
Well, if I was go ahead, October.
Well, it's just like when I went into this, what I expected was like, okay, well, they only have 2 hours to tell like an 8-hour long story. Angela's probably mostly going to be cut. It's just going to be the mirror scene because we saw that in the making of. So it'll be like a cameo. And like Eddie will probably be gone. But you know what? Just focusing on James and Angela and Maria, I can see that working.
You mean focusing on
It's-
Laura.
On Loris, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's not that. It's just there's nobody compromised this vision except himself. It's like the story he told wouldn't be any better if the stuff the producers told him to cut out of it was put back in.
Yeah, you'd still have the cult.
because-
You'd still have, him not
it's
killing
core.
Mary or her wanting him to kill her. Like it's the fundamental stuff. It's not the small stuff.
Hell, it's even a
Yeah.
betrayal of the 06 movie. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing I think that drives you the most nuts. This thing punishes you for using your prior knowledge. Oh, it's Ash, but it's not that Ash from the movie. Oh, it's nothing that happened in the first movie happens here. Oh, but also nothing from the game. Oh, it's Pyramid Head, but not the Pyramid Head from the movie, and not the Pyramid Head from the game. But it's
Well,
this other
to
guy.
be
But what
to
does he
be
look like?
fair, Josh, he did say it was a reboot, so we were supposed to
Okay.
not take that into
but the
account.
Meanwhile,
a
Oz
reboot
it
should at
returned.
least explain
It's that cult, but it's not
itself,
that
which
cult.
this
You
doesn't.
know?
Yeah, so on to this cult stuff. So that was like stuck in my craw. I was like, what the fuck was the point of this cult? Why couldn't, fine, if you didn't want Mary and James to be married, why couldn't she just have like a normal illness, Why did she have to be poisoned by this weirdo cult that was drinking her blood? So
Yeah.
I didn't understand what they were trying to do.
Of her illness and how that it's not about like if she has cancer or anything specific. It's this sort of this general. She got sick, right? It's something that nobody can help. And
Yes.
it goes from being internal to now it's external with this cult. It just it overcomplicates something that was very simple to the start with this.
Yeah.
And I think maybe
Yeah.
that's when you're writing something as a big movie. Maybe there's a temptation to go, "Oh, this is too simple. I got to add something to it." But again, that's sort of the failing of the vision, where it's like, well, no, if you understood that, you would focus on the simplicity. That's what makes this story, not over explaining it or adding things that don't even work on their own.
The game never even went into detail of what was wrong with Mary. We just sort of had it guessed. Like I think the most popular answer is she had some sort of blood cancer, given the state of her at the end of her life.
All that very vague, you can infer stuff. But there's never one answer that you're going to be like, that's the right one.
And so I went out of my way to read this novelization because I was hoping there was some sort of explanation of what this cult was about and what they were trying to achieve by torturing poor Mary and poisoning her from childhood, which is why she ends up dying. And so I went in there reading it, and okay, I'm going to explain. I don't know if you guys... Actually, before I give it any explanations, what do you guys think the cult's motivation is in this movie? Do not connect it to 2006 or whatever. What is the cult of Return of Silent Hill? What is their motivation?
I think I understand. I think what is going on is they worshipped her father, Jacob Crane, who was supposed to be more in the movie but got cut.
Joshua Crane.
Oh, sorry, yes, Joshua. That's right. They changed it the last second to Joshua. They had previously said Jacob. So Joshua Crane claimed to be a god, and I don't know if they did this specific ritual he was around or if he's always done it on Mary. But since Mary is the prodigy of what they think is a god or somebody that's ascending to a god, they are giving her a thing that apparently removes her free will, whatever that means, and makes her bleed out of her orifice so they can then consume her blood, which is supposed to imbue them with power and get them towards being a god.
Kinda, you were kind of close.
Okay.
What about what do you think?
I vaguely got that from the movie too, that they worshipped the father and she was the offspring, and then they were using that too.
Because when he's dead, they don't have any options to use him anymore.
Okay.
I think,
Right.
Well,
I
they
think
might drink her the whole time. I don't know.
I think Christoph Gans wanted to have some weird, like rapey, gross storyline that he thinks is really deep, and he added that, and that's literally all it is.
Victoria,
That's literally all it is.
what do you think? What was the cult there? What was their motivation? Why were they torturing Mary like that?
Honestly, it's a little hard for me to say because I'm so frustrated with how that was handled. I honestly, it's difficult for me to dive into the reasoning why, because I don't feel like Gans at all cared as to why. So there's really not a point to understanding it. I just feel like it's a narrative cop-out. And that is the point of the cult, is to be a narrative cop-out for the movie.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I'm gonna. This is what the novelization told me. So Joshua Crane had a belief he could reach divine status. What was the word? What was the word the book used? No. Oh, apotheosis. Apotheosis, right? He could manifest things. I guess like kind of like the Gift on steroids and a billion times more Delulu. So when he got sick and died, Mary, when she was a child, he claimed when he died when she was a child, he claimed he was just getting rid of his mortal shell, kind of like Scientology with Ron. What's the guy's name?
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard. Thank you, L. Ron Hubbard. Like he was ascending basically. He was getting rid of the mortal shell, and he's become a divine being. Mary was considered to have pure blood, and given her blood connection to her father, when the members feasted on her blood, they, quote, feel him what he finally achieved, what they could achieve through Mary. So I guess they thought they could reach divine status through their devotion for him and like drinking her blood in connection with some unnamed drug. They were getting this euphoric feeling and they felt that they could ascend as well, become divine. This is a quote. My blood was their ticket to their so-called apotheosis, some ridiculous pinnacle of perfection. God forbid any of them live an average or normal life. Then another quote. Father had this vision of some kind of heightened state of being where thought could change reality, manifest success and happiness. When they found out my condition was terminal, it shook them to the core. The news fractured their faith. I was dying just as my father had. Somehow I would achieve an apotheosis, just as my father had without them. End of the bloodline. They took it as a sign, a test of their faith and devotion. And then again, most of them in the fringes abandoned the movement, who were only in it for the blood and drug high of that ritual they would do. The inner circle stayed, and they died before Mary, either by like cancer. One was a brain bleed. They saw the death after Mary's own failing health as a test of their faith. They didn't want to get left behind, so they ended up like committing suicide. So I think the cult leader, Dara, put a gun in her mouth. Another guy hung himself. Another one slit at their wrists. So she ends up outliving the entire cult in this story. And so I was like, okay, I didn't get any of that shit from the movie. And then I come to find out that most of this embellishment of the cult and their doings was made up by the author of the novelization. On Reddit, he said, I added the cult details. I even went further with some of it, but they had me rein it in somewhat, since some of the cult members didn't even have given names in the script, i.e. the twins. We didn't really find out anything about any of them other than they were Mary's sort of adopted family after losing her father, so no jobs or anything. I gave them jobs when I built up the cult's conspiracy aspects. I wanted them in positions where they could rig the system, change records, cover up stuff, influence townspeople, etc. Even the actor, I believe their pronouns were they, them. So the actor for Dara, the cult leader, as the author says, we weren't given backstory in the script. So I'm looking forward to reading that. We did make up backstories for ourselves, so it'll be interesting to see whether they gel. The purpose of the ritual, drug, etc. was in my ritual speech that was cut, and we also filmed us introducing ourselves by name and showing that Dara and Kaylee were in Campbell. So in regards to the purpose of the ritual and the speech, Dara's actor said, so there was a couple versions of that speech. The original we shot described how the drug had to be filtered through Mary's blood and consumed to gain access to the paradise otherworld. Then I went in and did ADR with more Joshua-centered script. Then it was just cut. So the actor for Dara was very surprised when her big speech was removed from the movie that would have contained explanation for the whole cult's existence and what the fuck they were doing to Mary. Completely removed. And I'm left here going, why did you make it more convoluted, Gons? Why? You didn't need a cult at all.
Yeah, there's no like I've said this a few times in conversations with friends, but like I don't understand why it's here. In the one thing I could have think of is like if you wanted to try to tie it to the '06 movie, it's like, oh, it's the same cult, but it's clearly not
Mhm.
the same cult. Very
Yeah, that's
like
what I was thinking at first, and then it's completely different.
because like Christabella would literally set all these people on fire. They're like
Yep.
like literally
You're a
like
witch! Witch!
like completely incompatible cults. This is a different one,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
but like why is this in this movie?
Oh, and I wanted to point out that the book. So I was a bit confused about the ash and stuff. So yeah, the ash is from forest fires, and the water is contaminated. There's a scene in the book where he's going down the path and he comes up to the well. You know, where we see the first save square. Well, for him, he sees water and he starts to take a drink from it. He has water in his mouth, and then he sees that a sign warning about it being contaminated, and he spits it out. So the water has gotten contaminated. People were getting sick and dying in the town because of that. But I don't know. It could still just be in his head. Maybe the town is still a functioning town.
I
But
forgot
I
about
don't
that
think it actually
aspect
gets
of the
destroyed
movie.
in terms of the quote unquote real world based on what the movie says. I think he just falls asleep and then kills himself, and then whatever the
Yeah.
flashback thing was after that. So I think that's what the film as shot is doing and saying.
so
Did you find it
as
distracting that Mary and James actually lived in Silent Hill now? Because
I did, I found it distracting because I was
it'd be a
like,
special place if they lived there.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
It seemed very silly.
The whole point was it was supposed to be this resort town that they would go to because she was sick. She wasn't getting better. That was the whole thing.
That was her last wish. She wanted to go back to their special place, and that is completely removed.
Wasn't also the cult added in after he wasn't in his original script? I thought
Yeah,
that.
so he originally wanted so remember years ago when we heard like the spec was like a Jacob Crane and people were like, oh shit, who the fuck is that? You know, is that gonna be James's alternate personality or whatnot? No, that was supposed to be her father, and he wanted to hire, I forget who he wanted to hire, but apparently he would have been too expensive.
Guy from the
The guy that
Avatar
plays
movie.
the
Yeah.
dad that you only see in the picture, and I think in the abstract daddy suit, but I'm not 100%.
I'm sorry, what did you say, CJ?
The guy from the Avatar movies. The bad guy.
Oh, and
Oh,
don't- or, Don't
Josh,
Breathe.
you know who it is. The
Lawrence?
Don't Breathe guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh god. Well,
The
I
guy
do,
from
and I'm
Avatar?
of course now I can't remember.
Hold on. We'll fix this
Yeah, get it.
upload. Actors.
Stephen Lang.
There you go.
yeah, Stephen Lang.
So
Honestly, it's good that they couldn't get him because that would be even worse. I thought it was weird that they never showed him, but in context of the movie, I kind of liked that because it's this weird like the actor should be there, but there's just this mask. I think that was fun, just as
so
within the
so
craft.
yeah, it was a budget problem that he couldn't do his original thing, and I'm sitting here going, why?
Just take it all out.
I
Just
think
take
this
it
is
all
the
Why?
out.
Rosetta Stone to his bad decisions, because I think what happens is he has weird views about women, and he obviously misunderstood the game. He then had to cut all the content in half, not because of the budget, much less the story time. So then he's like, "Oh shit, I have to cut this. I need a reason that they're going here and that she's doing this. Why would she drink poison? Cult. I did that in the last movie. I at least know how to write that one. I personally think what all this movie is he has to pinch multiple plot points together, but he doesn't know how to connect them. So he did the cult thing because he knew how to do that. He did the ash thing before because he knows how it's going to look, at least when he shoots. At first I thought it was him ego chasing to put it in, but after watching a couple times, I think it was like this is a desperation story patch because the movie is completely uninterested in the cult, except as a vehicle to explain why we got from point A to point B.
So why Mary is sick, and I found it amusing reading this novelization, right? And I was like, wow, there's actually a lot more weird connections to the game in this book. Like the author made sure to throw in flesh lips. Like in the hospital, he was actually being chased by flesh lips at one point. I think even the mandarins kind of made it. He included more actual monsters from the game. Like even the mannequins from the games make an appearance. Where when James spies Mary and follows her to the ritual, it's actually taking place below the historical society. So there's nice. He tried to incorporate more game lore. There was like a flashback where they took a boat to the lake onto the lake. It was really cold, and Mary was telling him about the pandemic that happened, like why the Brookhaven Hospital was built and stuff. So a lot of like lore from the game he slipped in. I got the feeling that hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly. John is it Passaria or Passarella? I don't know if it's the double L is the Y sound or not. He seemed to know the game, and he was trying his darnest to fit in more or game accurate things in this novelization. It still didn't work, but I appreciated the effort if the author is listening.
Real quick, how did they get the dumpster over the?
Yes, that's explained in the novel. That's explained in the novel. Yes, when that happened, I started laughing because.
So I was like, is there an alternate door that they used and it wasn't that one? Because he had to push that dumpster off of the.
So I'll explain.
There was
So
one person left over and they didn't go down.
So when we came out of the movie, that was like one of the first things like CJ or was Josh you brought up, like how did the dumpster get back over? So in the novel, he gets it open, he goes in and he starts going downstairs and he sees this metal chain, and he realizes that if you pull on it, it will pull the dumpster over the entrance. So the book, this book tried to explain the thing that made people laugh in the theater. And okay, you remember the scene where he's yelling and shaking on the bars, and we're like, do they hear him? He's being really loud. The book makes sure to put in that there's this industrial pipe, like a large pipe making noise. So it's like he can barely make out the shit that the cultists are saying, and so they can't hear him either. Also, the fact that they're high as fuck probably didn't help. There was a moment.
It's all in his mind too, so it doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
No. This actually happened. He actually witnessed this, and remember, this was the reason why they broke up.
This is prior to the.
Yeah, this is prior to returning to Silent Hill. So there was a moment where he claims that he makes they're drinking the blood off of Mary, and he sees the leader Dara kind of sit back with and it looks like they make eye contact, but he's like, I don't think she's really seeing me. It seems like the drug and the blood are having some sort of effect. So the book goes out of its way to explain why no one fucking hears him. It's things like that. I really appreciate it, but I'm like, yeah, did not get that watching the film.
Here's the thing. I really want to say this. The original story, the whole part of the reason why it works so well is, there's that old trope or that old joke in just horror in general. Like, why do the people go to the scary place when they could just leave? Like, of course, or whatever. Why are they staying in the scary place? And
why are they still filming?
Yeah, but for James, it was most important person in the world. He got a letter from her. And yes, I know she hasn't gone for 3 years, but she was gone for 3 years. And the whole idea is that if you really care about someone, especially if it's like a romantic partner, and if they passed away, the whole idea is you would do anything to see them again. That's all we need. That's all that needs to be there. None of this fucking horseshit. It's so stupid. It is so incompetent on such a fundamental level. There is no reason for there to be a cult in this movie. It makes the original story, all of the power is gone, and it's so convoluted. Yeah, it's hard for whenever I start talking about this movie, I have a hard time articulating things because I just think about how fucking ridiculous it is in every measurable sense. Because why? All you had to do is he got a letter from his dead wife, and that's it. And she could have cancer, she could have anything. She doesn't need to be poisoned by some fuck-ass cult. Why was that there?
Because he makes changes that make load-bearing problem. He takes load-bearing story points, messes them up, because he's like, okay, I'm gonna do different, or because he thinks that makes sense. And then in every instance, he has to make 6 patches. I gotta add a cult, so I explain why they're here because they don't have a good reason. I did change this, so I got to add these 6 things, and then it ends up taking more time than the amount he cut.
And none of it makes sense.
He takes all the power out of the story and turns it into an ugly thing. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't need a version of Silent Hill 2 where Mary was assaulted a bunch. Like, what does that add to the story? Nothing.
And it was all
weird,
off to be the edgy doll, like the weird doll. That's the only plot point.
but it's just like weird voyeuristic stuff. It's like, think, when you said this at the start of the podcast, but like when like Maria gets killed a few times or 3 times in, well, more than that in the original Silent Hill 2, but it's not like gratuitous. Like the one time Pyramid Head stabs her, it's like you just see her hand. Here it's like, I really need to have a scene where Pyramid Head impales violently, really violently, Maria on a sword. Why? Because I'm Christoph Gans, apparently. That's the
and it seems like James is controlling Pyramid Head, and that's not. I mean, to be fair, Pyramid Head in the game kind of does act a bit like James's guardian to keeping him on task, and Maria is there to to sway him from facing what he did, right? But this one, like, it was meant.
And if you're gonna do that scene, do it at the elevator. Like where it happens in the game. Why would you make it so far afterward for no reason?
It was so mean-spirited. I think that's the thing that made the movie so upset me so much, is it just took this story that's full of so much nuance that people have been talking about forever, and you can reinterpret it in so many, or you can interpret it in so many different ways, and there's so many layers to it. It's deeply empathetic, even for like the most awful people, and he just turned it into this ugly, rancid story that is not the same. Like, it's not like, I said some adaptation, like October brought it up earlier, the Jurassic Park is completely different from the novel, but it still retains like some of the most core things.
I was gonna say, when I read, because I saw the movie first for Jurassic Park, when I read the novel, it was still like the core moments, that like defining moments of the story were still there and intact.
The
like maybe
themes of Jurassic Park are
it's still there. It's about man playing God and not really understanding what they're doing. This movie is like you said, it's not the core themes of this game. It's wrong fundamentally, and I feel so dumb. Like, not dumb, but I feel kind of mean saying that, because these games are so they leave a lot of room for interpretation. And he's said this multiple times, that this is his interpretation of Silent Hill 2. But I just kind of want to sit next to him and be like, did you play with your eyes closed? Did you plug your ears up? What game were you playing where it's obvious that Angela is a part of Mary? So fucking where?
I mean, that's the thing that I find that if this is his honest interpretation, if this is what he got out of Silent Hill 2 and he's not just lying, that's like alarming.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it shows how shitty he is. Yeah, like
it's like, oh, which ending did you get in Shattered Memories? What kind of person does Shattered Memories think you are? It's like, I don't think I think I know what ending Christoph Gans gets because we just watched it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he said he always wanted to do In Water, and that's a lot of people's favorite endings. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But you know what else? Why he could only do In Water? It's because he fundamentally changed the game where the Leave ending wouldn't work, the Maria ending wouldn't work. It just like none of the other endings would work because he took away everything that would lead to those endings.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, I think the moment, and I feel like I was talking to October about this, I think like just the night after it happened. But I remember the moment where I went from like, I was kind of like laughing at the movie and like, oh God, this is awful and whatnot. But the moment when Mary begged James,
oh my God,
I was like,
fuck that.
What's wrong?
Oh, sorry. I was opening my Twitter to get my picture of the article to read something about his prosthetic. They're coming out with figures. Guys.
Yeah, I know.
Action
I saw that
figures?
earlier.
Oh my God!
Are there pictures yet?
I
Oh
think
my god!
Really
I
just-
want
really
pothead
just
James.
push them. Yeah.
Oh my god.
These look
Real bad.
horrible!
Oh my god.
His
Oh,
little squished face.
the real
look-
Ghostbusters Silent Hill.
they look so.
Oh my god, what is his proportions? His proportions! His head is
What
so
the fuck are
big.
these?
Pyramid Head is just a little guy.
Looks so
What?
stupid.
Oh my god.
Why
what
are
the
why
fuck
they
are
chode
these?
they chode it out?
It's a hobbit.
They do look like hobbits. Yeah.
Oh my
What are those
god.
proportions?
Oh my god.
Oh, but I
Uh,
think I need the James ones.
I think I need these. I think I need
This is
these.
kind of like a karmic fitting kind of design for this fucking
Holy
movie that it
shit.
deserves.
Yeah, like is it a
uh,
really bad figure or a really good figure?
No, they're bad. They're terrible, but they're like
No,
so
they're-
bad.
They are faithful recreations of the characters from Return to Silent Hill.
They are about on quality with the rest of the film. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that. I was looking for the article I had, but
It looks like that.
I can't believe that popped up just as well. Oh god.
This also randomly reminds me of something that really bothered me in the movie because I saw the lying figure. I think he's changing the symbolic purpose of the lying figure in this movie because the second time we see the lying figure when it's dribbling its black goo all over itself and looks a little different, it makes the exact hissing sound that you hear of those garbage bags sizzling on the cult's secret entrance. I think there's supposed to be him remembering how he felt when he found those garbage bags, and there's quite a few scenes of him being thrown in a garbage bag when he's at his low point. I think that's supposed to be like he's changed the meaning symbolically of the lying figures. They're supposed to represent like him finding the entrance to the cult like rave zone.
I don't know. Akira, my dude, I know you love a paycheck, but I don't believe you. I don't believe you that you think this is a great adaptation. And
You gotta say it
The
for marketing
way-
reasons.
the way that Gons would lean into, well, Akira liked. Well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find this quote where he was
Is he the
talking.
producer?
No, was he? He just did this. He
I
just did
think so.
soundtrack.
I
I'll
think he was a
double check.
producer too.
yeah.
Yeah, so he gets a paycheck off of this.
Hold on, let's see.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you know, yeah, he's probably getting money off the back end, and it's the only thing that sucks is that people will use him as an example. Like, you know, oh well, he liked it. It's like, nah.
He
First of all, he
part
didn't
fact-
write the game, so who knows
Yeah.
what he thinks? Maybe he does think it's great.
He is just listed as composer on IMDb, so
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't see
moving
him.
on.
Okay,
Credit.
he was a
Yeah, I don't-
producer on the other two, though, wasn't he?
I think
No.
he was on the when he's. Oh, was he not? Okay.
I think he was
I
a
remember there was
producer.
an interview with him for the first.
They keep saying that he created Silent Hill in one of those behind the scene videos for Akira. So they're giving him a lot of they're giving him more credit for the series as a whole than what
Oh
I think
yeah,
he
like
deserved.
IGN crediting him as
He was
creator
executive
of
producer on the
Silent Hill.
first film.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I want to watch this movie with Owaku. See what he thinks in Saito. But I just to circle back a bit. The thing is like they took away. Yeah, the moment when the moment in the theater where my heart just completely shattered, where the rage started building in me was when Mary begged James to kill her. I'm like, oh, and the craziest thing about that is because it absolves James of any guilt, but the craziest thing about that is like it doesn't even like carry like because when people say that when they try and say James was never did anything wrong, blah 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 blah, like that bad faith read of the story, like you can't even say that about this version of James because he didn't kill her because he was jealous at her or he was upset with her because she was verbally abusive and he had to take care of her and he wanted his life back. Like none of that's there. Like so you can't even get mad at it in that sense. Like it's such a fundamentally ridiculous, utterly ridiculous reinterpretation of this story that no matter how you look at it, no matter how you try and justify it, it doesn't line up with the original story at all. If you want to see someone reinterpret Silent Hill 2, you can go play Bloober's fantastic remake. They did an amazing job. And then if you want to see how it could go wrong in the complete opposite direction, you can watch this movie.
even if you look at this movie on its own merits, like you've never seen the games, you have no context, you're just looking at this somehow blank. The ending, that's so Raven ending, is so inexplicable that there's no setup, there's no payoff, there's no reason it should have happened. If you just look at the movie, obviously I know what he's trying to do, some kind of weird half-ass loop theory thing.
No.
But like,
Yeah, I heard
No,
this.
no,
Heard
what-
the
what it-
actual intent.
You know what it should have done? If they were going to do that, the whole thing was about him letting Mary go. He has to let her
Yeah.
go. He
He's
should
not
have let her get on the goddamn bus. And I would have been like, okay, that works. But no,
Yeah.
he doesn't.
The way a normal person, an actual writer, ends this movie is Jim remembering that the lock's broken and doing the kind thing, holding it the right way so she can get on the bus and leave.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
as
he
it
Still
is,
dropped it,
that.
which that didn't make sense.
yeah, but as it
You
is,
already knew the lock was broken.
I read, I don't know if it's something somebody asked him at that Q&A or what, but apparently the intent is that it is James, in his dying brain, or however you want to interpret it, choosing to stay in the fantasy, rejecting moving on. It's like,
Mhm.
that only works in a story where he's a character that's capable of that. That's my
Exactly.
alarm just went off. I'm sorry.
Well, I was also waiting for Mary to do something like cough, and they don't even give you that at the end.
Well,
No.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if this is the quote I was actually looking for, but he's like, I had a long, long talk with Akira Yamaoka where, for example, I was just asking him what some detail means, and sometimes I was proposing my own interpretation, and he was like saying, oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. Because we all know as soon as you play Silent Hill, every gamer will have a different idea of what happened in Silent Hill, and especially in Silent Hill 2. I hope people will understand that what I propose in Return to Silent Hill is my own interpretation of the game, but made with respect. And I do not understand how you could say that and basically take out everything that makes that game what it is.
If he misunderstood it, though, I mean, that's still a valid point from his point of view. If he really
Yeah.
believes that's what happened in the game, just
Well,
like
I
Josh
don't
was saying earlier.
I don't
Yeah.
think he actually believes that. Like, I'm gonna say this very bluntly. When you know about it, when you know nothing about a franchise or a series, like nothing, but like the big pop culture, like iconography or whatever, like a classic example is like, you talking to me? You talking to me? Everyone knows what that is. They don't necessarily know it's Taxi Driver.
Yeah,
But
I've
they
never
know
seen the
it's from-
film, but I know that line.
Yeah.
It's in the
they know-
zeitgeist.
yeah. In my restless dreams, I see that town, Silent Hill. It's the most iconic thing about the franchise, aside from maybe Pyramid Head. And Gons looked at that and he flipped off the audience. He couldn't even put in the most important line or the most recognizable line. So that's why I don't buy this interpretation thing. I think he thought I can do it better. I think that's what happened.
And honestly, guys, reading his interviews about this film, that's exactly what I thought. It was him going, oh, it's okay, but I can make it even better. And he made it like a million times worse for me. I do not
Problem is,
like
the
his version of
the
Silent Hill 2.
interpretation doesn't even work on its own terms.
No, because like why is there, if it's all in James's head, why is there a cult? Why does a cult need to be there?
Even that, why is he getting a happy ending based on this
Yeah.
film? Because I'm going to poll the group because maybe I'm missing something here. Is there a single thing that James does this entire film to help anybody except for himself, except for euthanizing Mary? Is there a single time he's ever nice, help somebody? Even when he's trying to help Laura, he's being weird and demanding of her to get information. Like, is there a single time he does anything that's not selfish? And yet this movie thinks he's supposed to be this victim. We're supposed to... It goes to the lengths to absolve him in every possible aspect. Is there a single thing he does for anybody else in this entire movie?
I'm going to play devil's advocate like I've been doing most of the podcast. When
Mhm.
he first goes to help Laura, is he weird at all right then? I got the impression that he genuinely wanted to help her right before Eddie kicked her and Pyramid Head popped out.
He wants
later
to,
on,
he wanted to
weird.
help her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
a
I
little
mean,
bit, but he's
that's
also
like
being
point-
weird, and he gets more needy when she mentions, I think, Mary. And then he starts being like, you have to come here, or something like that, I think. I have to double check.
I got it more the impression that this was a dangerous place, and he was. It was the immediacy of that situation that made him, I don't know, more demanding. I'd have to go back and rewatch it too, but I didn't get, in that
So
initial moment, I didn't get that he was
Also-
being weird to her.
Also,
That's about
like,
it.
I saw an interview where, oh no, actually, sorry. Everyone respond to Josh's question.
I think that silence is deafening.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
I felt he was a selfish prick, so no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he just comes off like a douchebag to me. He just
I thought
is a
I thought he
douchebag.
was trying to help Laura because there's this little girl in this weird fucked up place, and then he got mad at Eddie for scaring her, and then he got kicked in the kidneys, and
But he's low-key threatening her in the later scenes, I will say that.
it's one of those. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a baffling like everything about
Mhm.
this is so baffling. It's been it's been 3 weeks since I saw this movie, and I still so much of it I don't understand why it's the way it is. Like why if you don't have time to tell the whole story, okay, maybe you have to cut Angela or you have to cut Eddie from to make just about Mary and James and Maria or whatever. That like look, I get it. It sucks, but it's a it's a 10-hour game or whatever. But like
he mentioned
why
he would rather like a mini series because like it deserves 15 hours, and no, it doesn't need 15
Not
hours to
this
tell
If
the
you're
version
gonna
of
story.
do
it.
that wrong, if you're gonna do the 15 hours wrong too, then that doesn't really
I think
matter.
yeah, I can't remember where I was going. Never mind.
Sorry.
I don't know if we want to say our one good thing about it, but I wanted to say this before we forgot. I think say what you
Okay.
will about the movie, the quality of the adaptation. I think for me, the actress who played Mary, Maria, and Angela was the best part of it. I thought she really tried, and given what she had to work with, I thought she was very emotive, and she kind of ran circles around the actor who played James. Which maybe if it was written better, he would have been better. But
Mhm.
anyway, I thought for me, her performance was the best part of the movie, especially as Mary. I thought she did good in the other roles, but she had a lot more to work with Mary, and I thought that really stood out to me.
I perked up a little bit when he got to Silent Hill and he started going down that pathway, and I was like, oh wow,
Yep.
this looks just like the game. I kind of had like a little bit of a chill moment I had with the 2006 film when it recreated the alleyway chase
Yeah.
scene, and then he got to the bottom and he crossed the threshold where there was ash, and I was like, oh.
It was the same for me when he was walking down the wooded path. I'm like, oh, okay, like that's cool.
And I
That was
thought the moths were pretty.
I'm happy that one of the aliens from Star Trek: The Next Generation got a job as Moth Mary.
I was not a fan of Moth Mary either. She looked
I thought she was
weird.
Devourer from Mortal Kombat, the insect lady from Mortal Kombat.
She looked like a Star Trek Next Generation like alien. Like
Mhm.
Picard is saying
Mhm.
like what universal translators, and it's like the Tholians or some shit. Like
I
it looks
appreciated that it was at least a new take using some of the iconography with the butterflies or the moths rather. It
oh
was something.
I
Whether
really
or not
want
it looked great. She looked too skeletal at first.
okay.
Like so, we cut out the what is the boss in the hospital, Whitney, that comes out of the ceiling.
Flesh lips.
Yeah, so we cut that out to have that weird scene with Moth. I guess that was the introduction of Moth Mary, where you kind
Mhm.
of get a glimpse of her. Yeah, it
That's my
felt
favorite part of the film.
The
her revelation at the end was it was almost like those games where there's not a final boss fight and you just it's just a cutscene and it ends. Like there's no real combat or anything. That's what the movie felt like.
You know the part that made me laugh the most was when how bad the special effect looked of James floating. I laughed so hard. That looked
Oh, it's so bad.
so
It's
terrible.
even that
Weird
raising
visual
bed
to
could
pull
have
off.
looked good. That raising bed could have looked good, but they was shot so poorly, and then you add in the capper of like him floating, and it makes it even funnier.
It was weird, like in the theater, just hearing the moments where people just went, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, there's a point where we first laughed, and
involuntary
everybody broke.
laughter. And that was one of them when he floated.
I kind of derailed.
Yeah.
What was everyone's one good thing or a couple good things?
I said the walk down, and I thought the moths, like especially the scene where the moths started hitting the window, the red windows.
Yep.
And like, I thought that was cool looking. That was it.
CJ, what about you?
So the descent into the forest, that's cool. It looked shot was well. In the room where the flesh lips fight was supposed to be, I did like the shot of the hands coming down toward James.
Mm-hmm.
Before it
That's
went down his throat.
Yeah, before he gargled it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Hey,
it.
Josh.
I have actually a handful of like, but yeah, like I think my favorite hands down is the bed on the ceiling. I think that part works, especially the scream and the lunge. It's like mildly kind of almost got me on the edge of being scared. And then I think it's very beautiful with the flowing things. But like
I would
everything that I
yeah.
do like in this film, I think it immediately steps on a rake. So it's like, okay, then you show Moth Mary and she doesn't look good, and that kind of undermines it. But like, if it just stuck to that where you only see glimpses of her, it would have been like okay. But then like later we see it full, so it like undermines even that. Or like I liked when Pyramid Head was lunging through the bars. But then you go to a wide shot so you can see how much of a fake suit it is, and then he's banging his head and he's making more noise than James is in those scenes. He's talking more than James. So that immediately steps on another rake.
I forgot.
He makes the
his helmet looked really lightweight in that too.
Frankenstein.
October, was it you that like he sounds like those
From Mario.
the block Mario guys.
The thwomps or whatever.
You know those.
That I'm sorry that you just reminded me of something else that enraged me. When that happened, I was like, "What happened? You're just standing there menacingly." That's what he does. He watches.
It's the big Hollywood version, though. You can't just have him standing there.
That's what makes him so iconic. He just stands there, and you're like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck is that?"
No, he needs to grunt and talk and act like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And
Very bad.
and then he just. Then the scene with the closet, they couldn't even have that scene with the gun or anything. He had to come ripping the closet opening, getting in James's face and going,
There was some real subtlety when it zoomed into the helmet and you saw, like, did you guys pick up when they were trying to say? It was really hard for me to figure it out.
The second,
I didn't understand it until the visionary director Christoph Gans, when James is painting violently with his red paint, and I'm like, Pyramid Head is tied to what?
What?
Mind blown.
But wait. We're going back to stuff that we didn't like. Victoria, was there anything you liked?
What did I like? I guess I'd echo the comments on the actress who played Mary. I think overall she did a good job for what she had. And then I like the booty physics on the spider because it took me out and made me laugh, and I felt something other than frustration or confusion.
The juiciest
So I
ass
like that.
in Silent Hill.
And then when
Same
when James fell into the room with the abstract daddy, just because again I'm not from the game, so obviously there's probably things wrong with how it was done, but I thought that the room itself and then the physical effects of like the whatever you call it, like that mush on the floor and everything, I enjoyed it. Again, it's more because it took me out because I felt like, ew, gross, disgusting. And it was not my, again, feeling of confusion or frustration with the movie. So it gave me like a half-second breath of those feelings.
Yes.
So that's about it.
Yeah, a lot of unintentional laughter in our theater twice. We saw it in a packed theater the second time because we were in LA, and I think there's only maybe 3 theaters showing the movie, and oh my god, that kind of lifted my spirits when everyone was laughing at exact points I did. I was like, okay, it's not just me who thinks this is fucking ridiculous.
Well, I for one was offended. They ruined the subtle genius of Pyramid Head punching that ass.
October. What are your favorite? What were the parts you liked?
It's no. If I'm being serious, I actually really liked. The film it didn't hit every time, but it felt like there's a real effort to try to make it feel artsy. So, Whitney, I think you mentioned earlier, like the moths covering the window and everything being red. There were a lot of cool shots like that where it was using a lot of really pumped up color. Shots of like Jim and Mary kissing in the huge swarm of moths. I thought Jim's paintings were actually really pretty. I was kind of expecting them to, I mean, at this point, I was kind of expecting them to just be like AI dog shit or something, but they were like real oil paintings, and that hallway of Mary slowly disintegrating painting to painting was really cool. Shame it has nothing to do with what's going on, but it was a cool visual. Yeah, the actress playing Mary did, she seemed to show up and try to give a real performance.
She gave it her all. I mean,
Yeah.
I got the feeling that she was distinct people between Maria, Mary, and Angela. So
yeah,
I would recast her in a better version of this movie as
totally
character. At least as Mary and Maria.
Yeah.
Did anybody notice in the hospital scenes where James and Maria are next to each other? It seems like they color graded James like down, like so he would be like less bright, and Maria was like really bright. Did anyone notice that?
Well, I did notice she did kind of stick out. I just thought it was because of her.
I would assume that's intentional because the flesh tones, those would at least match. But it looks like in post or something they must have like bumped her up, and I like that contrast, like that she's not really there, like a subtle hint towards that visually.
Yeah,
maybe.
Still didn't really get why she was there in the first place, because like she doesn't even come back from the dead to torment him.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if he got to the It would have been cool if he got to the hotel and she's just there again, and he's like, "What the fuck?" He has no mind fucks in this version.
Yeah,
because he's an innocent boy.
He's already high. Give him a break.
He's yeah. I think I'll add to the like none of the performances really seemed bad to me. I feel sorry for honestly these actors because this is a really bad script to try and get some
fucking
of these.
Jeremy Irvine going from a Spielberg movie to this.
Oh, poor guy.
What was he in? What was he in?
The Warhorse.
Oh.
I mean, it was a while ago, but
yeah, that's been a second. 2011.
But still, fucking Steven Spielberg's Warhorse in 2011, like that's not nothing, and now he's here. Shit.
Yeah. I feel I literally legitimately.
Man's in a silent hell of his own.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Hopefully, there's no cultists in that one.
At least I'm not terribly familiar with Mary's actress, but the only thing I knew her from was Saw 8.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know her from. So like, at least that's not quite as depressing a career.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to.
She's better than he was.
I think they'll be able to move on to other stuff. I do find it funny. I don't know how much I believe the fact that he didn't know Laura's actress was cast in the remake of the game.
That's a complete bullshit.
Like Konami's still making it. They wouldn't tell him. Like it doesn't really matter. An NDA, like you're still making the movie. You probably would need to know that.
There's no shot that's true.
Yeah, and even if it was like they would know before they filmed, so they wouldn't get in legal trouble, and then would still agreed. So even if somehow that was proven true, it still isn't true. You know what I mean?
Oh, I did think of another thing I liked, guys. I would like to give the social media team for this movie their flowers, because oh my god.
Oh yeah.
They took the hatred in stride and were still doing their best to promote this movie, and I love their sassy little comments, like someone going, "Why don't you show the real reviews on Letterboxd?" Like, I forgot their name. Well, it'll be like, Kate, I'm sorry, but like we have to promote the movie, and people saying their dog shit is not going to help us in our cause. It's like shit like that. Like, I gotta be real with you. I'm gonna take the best reviews to promote the movie. I can't promote it with shit comments.
I have a question for the group. Did anyone in their screenings have someone walk out? Because 4 people walked out in mine.
I didn't notice. I think I was too in too much pain to notice anybody leaving. I wanted to leave myself.
Yeah, my first screening maybe had 14 people in it, and they were all, you could tell they were fans. I remember one girl, I had my Welcome to Silent Hill cap on my remake James jacket, and I got a compliment on the hat, so that's a positive from the experience. And then the second viewing was maybe 6 or 7 people, so nobody walked out that I knew.
Yeah, nobody walked out of mine, but like I think all of you have said that you had a lot of people in your theater that were clearly fans, wearing video game merch, stuff like that, or around your age or a little younger. I think we had maybe a little less than 20 at our screening, but it was also the only theater in like a 2-hour radius of me showing it. So I think we all us nerds just converged on it, and you could tell how much everyone didn't want to hate it, but you could feel people starting to break as you'd hear like a little chuckle from the left side of the auditorium, and then like a kind of like a snicker, and it was the Mary Angela Laura Crane that the audience
Lost
burst
it?
out laughing
Yes.
when the veil was lifted and people were laughing at everything that happened after that. The beard, the floating, everything. It was incredible. Nobody left.
Same
We
thing
were
for
all in
us.
for it.
I'd say that was the breaking point, was the gravestone. It was so on the nose. It was really not needed.
It feels like the sort of thing, like imagine you're 14 and you're writing your own version of Silent Hill 2 for AO3. You'd think that was the coolest shit in the world. Now, when you're like 60 something and making a major Hollywood motion picture, maybe less so. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's what we got. So.
And another thing was after that point, just it was like we were all like, yeah, we're all in the same boat here. We could all laugh at this, and the most heart-wrenching moment is supposed to be when you see him kill her. And I got the giggles because it was so dumb looking.
Yeah,
he has this beard that looks fake as hell, and then he takes his tiny ass like face cloth and puts it over her mouth, and she has to hold his hand. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? This is the death scene?
Right there, too. It's not like they didn't have a pillow. They just didn't want to use it.
Yeah, and it's too bad because it's the one scene I think the James actor actually gave any performance that I liked in the entire film.
And it was distracted.
But if you're
beard.
distracted, you can't even enjoy that. The one thing he gets to do, you can't even enjoy it.
Like
I want to believe that it was the first scene they filmed, and he didn't know what the movie was yet. He was giving it something, and then he saw the return. He saw the dailies, and he's like, "Oh fuck it,
I'm not putting effort into this thing.
I'm not putting effort into this anymore."
You know, I did find it strange though that do a lot. I mean, every once in a while he would get like some sort of like item he could, fight a monster, but it was mainly just running away, just like Rose. I found it interesting that in the novel, he definitely tried to incorporate more of the kind of iconic weapons. Like at one point, when they were being chased around that Ford F-150 with the a line figure kind of closing in on them, he was able to grab a 2x4 and whatnot and actually smack the shit out of monsters. Like he was actually, fighting his way through the town. This one, not in the movie, not so much. Like at one point I got excited when I saw the plank of wood with the nail in it, and all he did was use to lock the apartment door for the roaches.
Yeah.
I felt like he could have done a little bit more. Like, I think that the scene in the closet would have been better if he found that gun and tried to take a shot at Pyramid Head and had to scream.
Have it, and then it just doesn't. It's so distracting.
I had to share my story about something happened during my screening. So I was like kind of giggling like near the start, because I'm like this. Oh, this might be like a revelation tier, like a fun movie, and then I eventually realized it was like really mean spirited and everything. But my friend looked over at me and he like whispered something like, "You look like you need a hug," and I'm like, "Yeah, I think so after this." And then like literally as like the theme of Laura like starts playing and it's like panning over the town and like the credits hit, and I looked over at him and I'm like, and I just said, that was utterly abysmal. And then like 5 people behind me started laughing, and one of them said, "Yep," and that was the end of my screening.
I think our first showing, I don't know if they were reacting to me, the people behind us, but at one point I was like, what the fuck was that? And I heard someone like,
I think that's what actually changed that our first showing, because once you did that, they laughed. They're like, "Oh, thank God, somebody else feels this too," because you could tell people didn't know how to feel. And after that, they started laughing all the time. You broke their you broke the cap on that.
I've never been. I don't talk during movies. So it's rude in a theater, right?
Yeah.
But I couldn't help at one point, I just was like, I think it was the point where the graves marker, CJ was sitting next to me, and we both, I think we looked at each other, and then, the fuck? Fuck you. I think we said fuck you, Gons, a couple times.
I think I said fuck you out loud.
Yeah. We're like, no, this was just, it was so bad. And I've never had that sort of like visceral like reaction to a movie. I try to be respectful. I understand it's his vision of Silent Hill 2, but I just want to ask him, like, are you sure we played the same game?
Yeah.
Do you really think you understand it? Because it seems like you're just going off on your own little thing. Like, nothing in the game indicates that Angela isn't her own person, that Eddie isn't their own person. And if that wasn't enough, we have people who actually worked on the game outside of Akira, because whatever he says, I don't believe him. I'm talking about the writers and whatnot have said they're their own people. I think Ito did a quote, tweeted like in 2020 or whatever, said, "Oh yeah, Angela and Eddie are their own people, their own problems." And I'm a little.
Scene, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just a little disgusted that he saw Angela's story and decided that to make it part of Mary's, and it's like that wasn't necessary. Mary didn't have that trauma. I don't think it was apparent she had that sort of trauma. She had a marriage and she had to go through the heartbreak of getting ill very young and then having her husband kill her. And in our last moment, seeing that betrayal of, oh my God, my husband wants to get rid of me because I'm too much of a burden, and then she dies.
Mm-hmm.
The scene in Silent Hill 2 that drives home most of all to me that Angela and Eddie are real is when you're in the labyrinth and you see the graves and it's James Sunderland, Eddie Dombrowski, and Angela Orozco.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say Maria, it doesn't say Laura.
Nope.
But it says those two.
Yeah.
And also I've never I have never heard of someone trying to say that Angela is a reflection of Mary.
I've never heard it. Never. Again, 20-something years as an adult. I was not a child when I played this game. I was not a child when I discussed this game with others. 2001, I was a sophomore in college. So 20 years to that, discussing this game and the meanings, and I've never heard anybody make that sort of connection. I've heard the connection of Laura maybe being a manifestation of some sort. Angela's always been her own person and with her own trauma. Eddie, same thing. I've never heard that take for this game.
And those characters are reflections on James, but they're not literal reflections.
Correct.
Yes,
They're of his character, not with also being their own separate characters.
Yeah.
A big part of Silent Hill 2 is the dangers of suppressing powerful emotions, why James bottled everything up and then it exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happens to James, or same thing happens to Eddie. The same thing happens to Angela.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the same through line. It's not that they're literal. They're characters just like, or they're people just like he is. Yeah, like Maria is, I'm one of those weirdos that questions whether Laura is real, but I also don't think Laura's just fucking Mary.
No.
Or that, and Maria has a very specific purpose to being Mary's doppelganger. Like Angela being one of those makes no sense. Like this is the thing that I think, especially I think, I only speak for myself, but the reason why this movie was so upsetting is it's like you see flashes of the story that is really important to you and like, informed, or at least for me, informed my taste in a lot of things, informed who I am. And you see bits and pieces of it. Like it's like if someone made a music video and they were influenced by stuff they saw in Silent Hill 2, but they didn't but that was it. It was just like maybe visuals, and they twisted it in such a like nasty way that made me feel bad. Like if anyone takes anything away from how I've been acting during this recording, it's like this movie made me feel like shit. That
Same.
is why it pissed me off so much. It feels so ugly and gross. Like again, like
Very mean
why
spirited.
why does Maria have
Yeah.
to die in a like such a like horrifically like like it's so like she it's just there because it's like weird voyeurism shit. Oh, I gotta see her like penetrated by a giant sword and there's blood everywhere. Even
Yeah.
though like in the game, like yes, Pyramid Head kills her, but like you don't see it because you don't need to. Because the people that made that game had tact. Not this
Yeah.
fucking guy. Remember in the original movie when we've got to see Christabella get barbed wire fucked? I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah.
Has anyone
Mm.
heard if Bloober has publicly said what their opinion on the movie is?
No, why
Are we
would
gonna say
they?
It'd be
negative?
crazy.
They
if
would not
did.
say anything.
It's literally like their business partner. Like they're not gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not gonna say so. The same thing. I don't know if you guys saw the interview that Akira did with Gons, and he compared some of the more negative reactions to being like a jealous ex, right? You feel like you should control or whatever, and he kind of understands. Like he feels kind of like that way with Metallica music and whatnot. I think he made the comparison, and I don't know, man.
Metallica music. What?
Yeah, that's what he brought up. He's very like into Metallica or whatever, and he feels like how the music changed over the years. He prefers like the
Yeah.
older stuff,
Okay.
Yeah, many
Um,
Metallica fans feel that way, and so I guess he was
Yeah.
making that
and
Yeah.
connection.
I think it's a little unfair because I think a lot of people who dislike this movie are feeling like we are. We were promised something, and it wasn't delivered. And not only was it not delivered, it was like someone took something we loved and changed it so much. It no longer represented what we liked about it in the first place. It made it so mean-spirited. So mean-spirited. Made it James have no agency in his own traumatic thing. The crux of the game. Completely different now. Nothing is James's fault. Nothing. Everything just sort of happens to him. He had no part in Mary's death. What was his guilt? His guilt was because he left her with her abusers? Yeah, you should feel guilty about that. Well, that wasn't the game.
I know a lot of people like obviously still hate Revelation more, but like my thing about Revelation is like it sets out to do something so like impossible, which is like being an adaptation of Silent Hill 3 and also being a sequel to that first movie, just completely incongruent storylines. And like one of the big faults of that movie is it tries to incorporate too much Silent Hill lore stuff into it that only like people. I always make the joke that talking about the seal of Metatron and all this, like man, nobody but us is gonna know what the fuck this is. But like I'm dead serious when I say this. Hand over my heart. I think that's a better adaptation than this.
It is. Like
Yeah.
I would argue that it is objectively a better adaptation.
Because you could take I think I said this before the podcast. You could take Adelaide Clemens as Heather. She looks like Heather. She acts like Heather. You could take her and put her in a better Silent Hill 3 movie, and she'd be perfect. Whereas
Like-
Jeremy Irvine in Return to Silent Hill, like he doesn't feel like James at all to me, like at all.
Like I mean, even beyond that, like just lay out bullet points. Like Silent Hill Revelation 3D, the bullet points are Harry Mason's daughter Heather is split off from Alessa, and she goes to Silent Hill and like fights cult shit in memory of Alessa on the Ferris wheel or the merry-go-round. And Douglas is a detective sent to find her, and there's also a guy named Vincent. Like,
Yeah.
that's the gist. Whereas
Yeah.
Return to Silent Hill, it's like, okay, so there's this guy named James, and he's an artist, and his girlfriend Mary was the daughter of the leader of a cult. Like, it's not even like
Yeah.
you get halfway into it, it's just like you're already so far removed from Silent Hill 2. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
at
movie
least-
might
yeah.
as well just be like Jimmy's Adventures in Blentland.
So I just want to say, if anybody's listening to this who really enjoyed the film, right? We'll go to bat. Can you say in the comments what about it did resonated with you as a fan of the game? What in the movie made you think, yeah, that's Silent Hill 2 in a nutshell? Like I really want to understand, and I just feel. What am I missing? That's what I want to know. What am I missing?
You're not missing anything. Like some people, they're just it's fine. People can like whatever they want, like as far as movies go. Like I was literally saying, I actually really like Silent Hill Revelation. It makes me fucking laugh every like it puts me in a good mood, and I can see where they were trying what they were trying to do. Yes, it's a really bad movie, but also it doesn't like comparison to this where this made me feel bad. Like there's a difference between something you can like kind of like chuckle at and then something that's just like, oh, you fundamentally like you twisted this into an ugly thing. And like there's nothing some people also just like, I part of it I wonder if it's just like people got to see a Silent Hill thing in a theater. I wonder if that's
That was a
literally
big
all of
part
it.
of it for me. Not that it made me enjoy the movie any better, but it was nice to see a Silent Hill movie on the big screen again, especially the way they rolled it out. Like, because initially I was gonna have to drive down like 3 hours and then 2 hours, and then finally like the last like Wednesday or Thursday before the movie came out, my local theater and a couple others got it. So just the whole build up to just be able to see it, because the like I said, the rollout theatrically was very weird and very like they were adding theaters last minute, which usually even like a Resident Evil movie or like a like Primate or something, like you could have gotten your tickets 2 weeks in advance, but not this one. So just getting to see it on the big screen and just the experience leading up to that, I mean, there's something to be said for that. That has nothing to do with whether the movie's good or not, but I think seeing something like that in a theater versus for the first time versus say on video, it makes a difference to me at least.
Yeah, I can see that. That's how I felt. Like I enjoy the original movie, like for what it is, but I had that feeling. I remember watching it all those years ago, and like, oh man, people are hearing music from the games that I didn't post on forums or anything. It's like so it was weird. Like, oh, people are actually seeing what Pyramid Head is. It's amazing that 20 years ago they made a Pyramid Head that looks better than any other fucking live adaptation they did of him. But yeah, it's just I don't think you're missing anything, Whitney. I don't think any of us are missing it or we're wrong or we're not allowed to be upset. This is
Yeah, well,
clearly very important.
that's the feeling I'm getting with a lot of like the
You're also allowed
convers.
to like it too.
Yeah,
I
with
think
the
we're being
conversations.
very negative, but if you liked it, that was a genuine reaction to your experience, so that's valid too. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It
absolutely
seems
it's
like
not to
the
valid
say
to
you
have
can't have
liked.
both.
It's absolutely valid to have liked this movie. Personally, I am just struggling with seeing people say it's the best Silent Hill movie and one
yeah.
of the better
Mhm,
video game
mhm.
adaptions.
What?
And knowing for a fact that those same people called Downpour one of the worst games ever made makes me want to throw myself out a window.
Like
I think a lot of
I'm
it's
wondering
just
if people.
it's the newest movie too, so a lot of times they'll just say that to say that.
Yeah,
It's
the
the newest
best.
Jurassic Park, so it's the best one. Like,
Um,
I think that's more marketing than what people actually think, or they're hyped up about seeing it for the first time.
Or they're young. It's their first
5
one,
years from
maybe.
now, it's gonna be the best
Yeah,
Silent Hill movie.
Josh actually brought up a really good point because especially starting with the remake, like there's a whole new generation of fans too, who
yeah.
like they might not even have been born when the first movie came out. Uh, so that's a factor too. And it's like, yeah, like
Mhm.
if you enjoy it, then like anything we said is not it's not a reflection of your character or anything. Like it ultimately doesn't.
Yeah, I hope no one feels that like because we've had people like on my Discord get pretty upset that people are so negative about this film, and I guess that's why I feel guilty. It's because I can't understand. I'm trying so hard, and I'm not seeing anything that I loved about that game in this movie, and it feels like a betrayal. And I think that's why I'm so upset. Like, it's silly, but that feeling I had in the theater was I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my god, this is not my Silent Hill. This is not what this is the for a lot of people, this is the golden child of the series. This is the best Silent Hill has to offer, is the Silent Hill 2 story. And I'd hate for someone to see the movie and think that's what this game is, and it's so much better, so much more subtle, so much more introspective. It makes you think about so many different topics. And this, I wish I liked it.
Something I noticed while watching this a couple times, I think it's 4 now, God help me, is I think why it can be enjoyable from what I've seen and talked to the people that I've seen the first time didn't have it such a negative reaction, and why it's so refreshing for us. Because remember, I even had this reaction, and I came into it with the best possible. I thought Gons has done good on previous films. I appreciate the '06 movie. I was about the target audience to give him much kudos, and I'm frustrated. And what it is this is Gaslight City. In terms of the aesthetics, you finally get to see them, and a lot of people that are watching first time like that, being able to actually, for once, see the things you like, especially if, like I said, they're first time people. But why it's so frustrating for us is because it won't give us any moment, unlike like the first movie, the '06 movie. It starts to do Silent Hill stuff kind of wrong, but it's doing that. And then it stops and it becomes an adaptation of this 60s film with Christopher Lee called City of the Dead. And that was like what he gave Roger Avery to when he was working on the script. This one, it takes every time, it relies on gaslighting you. Oh, it's Pyramid Head, but it's not. And then it treats you like you're dumb for thinking that. It's not just that, oh, Pyramid Head's different like in the '06 movie. It's that, oh, you thought he was going to be like that '06 movie? You're an idiot. You thought it's going to be like the game? You're an idiot. He's completely something different, and there's no setup, and it kind of assumes that you'll give it leeway to understand what the fuck this is by the assumptions you bring in from knowing the game, or at least knowing the movie from '06. It relies on you having a previous preconceptions and then punishes your previous preconceptions. That's why it took me so long to figure out what the hell they were doing in this movie, because it punishes me for assuming that the thing I see will be like the same thing on screen. Like none of the characters are the same, but they're like explicitly the opposite. Like he doesn't say it, she says it, the letter's different, everything is different, and it relies on you caring about them because of what you feel about the game, and then punishes you for feeling that way.
I just got the feeling watching it that Gons wanted to make his own version. And that's fine. He felt like he can improve upon the story, and he couldn't. Reading his interviews, he comes off pretty egotistical, and coming from watching this movie, I'm like, I just want him to I want to say shut up. He keeps going off about how he understands the source material, he understands gamers, and he keeps like,
He kept
what?
saying that it was an adaptation of the. He actually said this, by the way, that it was an adaptation of the Greek myth Orpheus and Eurydice.
Yeah,
That's
why
what he tried
don't
to
you
say.
make that instead? Because that's not the game.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah,
If you wanted to make a connection, why don't you say, hey, it's like Crime and Punishment? That's what the basis of the story was. It wasn't a Greek myth. It was a Russian literature, Crime and Punishment.
and
Yeah.
also like, and then this movie tries really hard to be Jacob's Ladder for some reason, a really bad version of Jacob's Ladder. It's just so it's just a baffling thing. I don't know. Like I said, I never could have guessed in a million years that this is how this movie would have turned out, and I didn't have high expectations at all. I thought at worst it was going to be kind of boring. That's what I
And it
thought.
actually was kind of boring at parts.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah. Well, because things don't mean stuff anymore. Like, okay, if Maria brings nothing to the table, she doesn't even slow him down, even though he says that, because all the things that they have to make her do to make her Maria, so you can say, hey, we had her in the movie. Same for Eddie. They don't go anywhere, so it's just a lot of empty actions that have no point.
Well,
I love
she's
that.
actually
the empty actions for the patches.
it's thanks to her that he even finds Mary's tape recorded like talks with her doctor and the room number and stuff. Like she brings him to the hospital.
Against the plot, she has to walk out of the room because he wasn't figuring it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
But even that, like I've like the way she's introduced. So like in the original game, it's like this big moment, like Mary, like, do I look like your girlfriend? And like in the remake, it's like they draw it out even a little bit more, where she's like at the end of the pier. It's like this is supposed to be a big fucking moment in the story when Maria comes into the picture. And in this movie, it's like a big wide shot, and she just walks in and says, "Hey, I've been following you." Like, What?
I also
He was in the fog before that, doing nothing, just like walking behind him.
yeah, I did find it kind of funny that he removed the labyrinth in the prison, but he made the labyrinth everywhere else. Like he made Rosewater Park like a labyrinth for some reason. I mean, I know I would get lost looking for items sometimes. I get a little turnaround, but it
And
wasn't.
also, he made it like a literal labyrinth, like a classical, like with the Minotaur kind of labyrinth.
Yeah, I did think when before he lost Maria and they went downstairs, the elevator brought him to another labyrinth with the paintings on the wall, and we saw the progression of her sickness. I thought that was really artistically cool. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a neat way to show the labyrinth. I mean, I don't know where he could have fit the prison in, but I felt like Maria's character went nowhere. She was there and then she was gone, just like Eddie. And it was like, what was the point? What was the point?
Because you don't need Maria in this version of the story. Like James isn't taking care after his sick wife, and he has these selfish thoughts about he wants booty calls or whatever, and this is his awkward dorky guy's perception of a really hot woman, and like none of that, and she doesn't torture him, or like she's like Maria. If
She
any character
kissed
should have been
him.
cut, if any character should have been cut from this version from Gonza's script, it almost should have been Maria. Like she serves no purpose in
Because
the
all I got moved on
story.
to Angela, you know.
A bit, sort of, but
It was
it's
kind of
more.
spread over because even Mary flirts with him more than Maria does. So that's the whole thing. So she can't bring anything to the table.
I think you meant Angela flirts more.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Mary flirts more. Angela does some of the stuff that maybe Maria would have done. You know?
Oh, yeah, the original Mary.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you think about like the scene, the jail scene, like
that
like,
switch
that's
when
not
she
even in
drops the act. So good.
Yeah, and that's not in the movie at all.
I'm not
Every
your
iconic scene is
Mary.
cut. Every iconic scene is cut or done,
That's
and
the
I say this
tagline
in
for
terms
Return
of
to Cameo.
writing. Is when I'm writing for like a newspaper, it's all about the active voice. I ran there. He did this. Every scene is like in the passive voice. It's like we do all this stuff, and it's very clear he thinks he looks like Mary, and then she says it after the fact, and then he repeats it in direct. It's like everything's done in reverse order.
Yeah,
So it has no emotional impact.
I really do think the cult stuff really muddled this story. Maybe he could have made it work if he just had her get sick. A chronic
less work.
Right,
illness. I
but then
mean,
would James have still killed her because of his selfishness, or would she still have asked him to kill her? Taking out the cult doesn't necessarily solve all the other problems.
Well, he said he didn't have time to focus on his selfishness, so he felt that James was a selfish character. It didn't come off that way in this movie.
I mean, does he feel that James is a selfish character before or after reading comments?
That part I'm not
that
sure.
Q&A was after the movie. Had already
I think
been
he's
out for
kind of
like a
becoming
week.
aware he fucked up after he made the movie, because a lot of his comments started evolving once people started asking him questions.
Well, he
Like,
started
I could be
blaming
wrong.
producers interference, American producer interference. He said Konami forced him to do the happy ending because
I don't believe that.
the in water was too bleak. Which, again, Konami, it's your fucking game. You should know that.
I question what influence Konami had over this movie. I mean, they licensed the IP out to a film production studio. Why would they have any say over what they do with the IP?
I don't think they were involved. I think this is a lie because he realized he fucked up. I think he's a dog that
I
finally
think
caught
he's
the car
just
and didn't know
trying
what to do.
Yeah, he's just trying to push blame onto everybody but himself. He wrote and he co-wrote and directed the film. It's his fault. And by the way, I went because we had some confusion over the other writers. I looked them up. Sandra Voan has only ever written the Beauty and the Beast film he made. And William Joseph Schneider, his only other feature film writing credit is the 2024 The Crow. So that's what we're looking at here.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Got some winners.
So whenever I think back to this movie, I get angry about what it could have been, and I think that's my problem because for years, whenever we talked about the movie adaptations, I was always like, you know what? He should have made an adaptation of Silent Hill 2 first. That was his favorite. At least that's what he claimed back in the day. It was his favorite film, and it was such a simple story. Such a simple story. No convolutedness with cults and whatnot. And what does he do? He adds a cult in again. And I am just baffled. When I made my tweet about, I saw the movie, I didn't know how to react. I was so confused. I could not meet him for where he was trying to go with this film, like his adaptation. It made no fucking sense. And I feel like I'm being punked with these people saying how great it was and that people are just being haters. I'm like, what are you seeing that I'm not? Please.
I would,
I like the postcard.
Yeah, the
I would,
postcard was nice.
I like
would
the opening title.
I would say the overwhelming majority of people didn't like it, so I wouldn't worry about that small subset.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are just contrarians.
The
Or
thing,
they just want to see so
Yeah,
mad
you're
they
always
lie to
gonna have
themselves,
that.
you know?
like I said this in the Discord, that fundamentally does not understand Silent Hill, and I said, people are showing me an apple and trying to convince me it's an orange just because they're both round and they taste sweet. It is
Like that
not
one
Silent Hill
monster
2.
Just like that one monster's ass.
Yeah, juicy. It's a big, rounded, juicy. I mean,
It symbolizes a desire to bite that juicy ass.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
looks like an apple. It shines like an apple, but it doesn't taste like an apple.
I mean, I really just don't understand why people don't understand why we're so upset about what they did to this movie in this movie, this story.
Some of the first time people, I did hear that they gave this movie undue kudos, including one person I know personally, because they assumed that there was just something cut because of limitations from the game, and that if they saw the game, this would all make sense. You know, like, and I think even
No.
some of that happened at the 06 movie, where it's like, oh, I probably just don't know the game enough, and if I go back and check it, this will make sense.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about the time argument though, is just like the original story, you could make cuts easier than what he made here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like,
if this
you get,
movie
like-
wasn't stuffed full of new shit, there would be enough time for the old stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of people.
Just do the story.
I know a lot of people really, and I understand why, but I know a lot of people like the flashbacks with James and Mary. I personally found they really broke the pacing.
They break the
But-
pacing, but if you're gonna add something, at least that's like an
Yeah,
obvious thing to do.
Sure,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
at least it's new, interesting versus new bad like the cult.
But I go back to the original, the original game and the remake, and it's just like you can tell just by like how James is speaking how important Mary was to him, how important their bond was. You don't need these extra scenes that like completely break up the pacing of the movie and completely, it's like you said, William, like take you out of Silent. Well, I guess they were still in Silent Hill, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's just like he would have more time to do certain things if he didn't add a ton of new stuff.
What is it with Silent Hill? Like, what do we know about Silent Hill as a town? It's a resort town. Why do these movies have to make it always abandoned? It's supposed to be a tourist town, and it's never used as a tourist town in any of these films. What do they have against it being a tourist? No, it has to be some abandoned shit. If this is supposed to be a reboot, why couldn't it just be the tourist town again? Like it's supposed. This is what they visited. It's a nice vacation.
The first one, like, there's no reason for it to be
Oh.
a
Set
story.
up to the series.
What if this is all like? What if
Is this our
all-
Silent Hill? Is this my personal Silent Hill?
It's
a
all in
really,
Christoph John's head.
a really
wake up one day.
meta version of like the first movie where like when he becomes like Christabella and she has to burn all iterations of this movie.
And it's like, I know he had to cut stuff. I know there was interference apparently, but I don't think a longer movie would have saved this for me. If anything, I would have just been madder. Because I'm like, I would have said you had all this runtime, yet you couldn't even take the time to actually do the crux of the game. James made a very selfish decision. You could try to, depending on your viewpoint on the game, but it was a selfish act. He killed his wife, and she didn't want to die, and we know she didn't really want to die because she fought back during that videotape scene. We didn't even get a videotape scene. What we got...
And that was set up. That was the videotape stuff was set up when he goes to the apartment, and he was at the moth dress, and then he sees all those videotapes. But no, that was just them taping the cult sessions.
Yes.
with
Yeah,
Mary.
he has to get
And he had like a headache because that was his trigger, was witnessing other people abuse his girlfriend and take advantage of his girlfriend, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. And he couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle that darkness in her past, so he left. And that is his guilt. It comes back again to iconic scenes in the video game completely removed from this version. He doesn't have that.
Dying doesn't matter anymore because it's just that he feels bad because he left her. The key point in this movie is not that he has to kill her, though he does feel bad about that. It's that he left her, and then that's just a preamble or afterwards,
Everything happens to him. The only thing he has agency over is he left. And that is the crux of this movie. It's he left her at her lowest point, and he can't take that back. And that's why he's guilty. Meanwhile, the game is he murdered the person he loved most in the world in either a snap decision, because he was just so frustrated with how their life deteriorated over the years thanks to the illness, or he did it out of extreme love because he knew he was suffering. But again, she fought for her life in that videotape. You look closely with the sound. If you put the sound back in from the PC, she's screaming like, you could hear her fighting for her life. And it was a long process. And he, of course, forgot about it because it's traumatic. He took a human life. And when he kills Eddie is when he starts to go, oh, wait a minute. Why does this feel familiar? I'm starting to remember shit. Ooh, she didn't die 3 years ago. She died days ago. Oh, fuck. I just killed this person. This is the second person I've killed in a week. I think that's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
James losing all agency in his own story. Everything happens to him. It's like he doesn't deserve it when in the game he made those choices. He made that choice to kill his wife. And now he's suffering for it.
And the things that he does bad in this movie, I think, are so much worse and so much more intentional that I don't think he deserves the happy ending. I would have respected more if it ends with the in water.
He should have either been in water or, again, if they did the do-over, he should have done what his therapist said and let her go.
Yeah,
let her go.
Entirely selfish acts. Not a single act for somebody else except for 2 instances.
Let her get on that bus. It would have been a nice little bookend to this movie story. Like, he finally learned to let her go.
To redeem James.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He would have taken it to heart, finally. After going through all of that, he would learn that, you know what? It's not about me, it's about her. And I want her to have a happy rest of her life. Maybe that means I'm not in it. I'm not going to be that roadblock, because she was going to leave her abusive friend group. And she got stopped because James running over her suitcases and the bus leaving. She took that as a sign from the universe that there's no point in trying to get away because this is her lot in life. He should have let her get on that bus. And that would have been a better ending.
It would.
No. We stay, bitch. Get in my car.
No,
No.
I gotta do the CSI.
Let me put on my...
I know where we're going. No!
Yeah.
Let me put on my sunglasses.
And I think that's why I'm really mad. It changes his character arc completely in this movie.
Everything is different. The fundamentals aren't there. That's why, and they're twisted into these either really stupid or ugly things.
And I guess that makes me a hater. It makes me a hater of this movie. But or I guess the jealous ex or whatever that Akira said, because it's not conforming to my theories of the game. Well, not theories. It's more like it's not conforming to the literal plot of the game. It's meant to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
I know adaptations are never perfect. Even like book to movie adaptations, things have to be cut. Characters get kind of like smushed into one character to save time. I understand that. This is completely different. This wasn't the story.
Yeah.
And
So,
I'm having a hard time. I guess I'm having a hard time accepting the.
Let it go, Whitney. Let it go.
What's the stage? What stage of grief am I at? I'm at denial. I'm still in denial right now, guys. Like I can't.
Pyramid Head appears behind you and turns off the recording button.
And like it seems like the more I'm going out of my way. I know you guys watched the movie, but I've literally gone out of my way to get more context for his vision. I've read this novelization. I've read his interviews, trying so hard to understand. And I'm just getting more frustrated the more I'm learning. The more I learn about it, the more I'm like, why did you even bother? Why?
Yeah.
If you ran into all these roadblocks with the producers or whatever, forcing you to cut your film, you couldn't make what you wanted to make. The money wasn't there. Maybe just don't do it. If you cannot do it to the full extent of what you want, if your script, your vision, you couldn't really bring it to life, why give such a half-heart, such a piecemeal version of your vision? Like, why put this out?
He did it for himself to not only chase ego, but to prove the haters wrong. So he doesn't care about the end result to some degree. Like I think he
it sounded like he wasn't even like satisfied with this cut.
Yeah.
So
because he was doing that because he wasn't living for the movie. He was living for I can finally prove him I was a smart guy the whole time.
It just made me realize that the 2006 movie was a fluke. I mean, that was
it propped him up. You know, he has a mediocre idea for really good visuals and set pieces, but no clue how to get there. Roger Avery wrote to get him there, and he had the cinematographer that was Academy nominated. They all lifted his ass, and even that movie, as it stands before my edit, is like a 3.5. Like even with people helping him, it's still not even that high.
it's there's a lot of it made me appreciate the 2006 movie more, I guess.
It makes me appreciate almost every video game movie more.
It makes me appreciate just any movie more. Like, even you know what? I enjoyed Ice Cube's War of the Worlds more than this movie.
Wow.
100%.
And that was part of the reason that I brought it up earlier. But the contrast between the only films I've seen in the theater this year was Return to Silent Hill, and then a week or two after, however long it was, Iron Lung. Both video game adaptations. One from a seasoned 10-year filmmaker from a major motion picture studio, made for $20 million?
Yeah.
And the other is a passion project by some guy who wrote, directed, produced, starred, and edited it. And it was shot for $3 million inside of a box. And it's better in literally every conceivable way. And so it's just like, maybe sometimes people shouldn't be allowed to make movies. I don't know. That's a really mean statement. But
No, like I said, I've said, it's like maybe the actual really meta part of Return to Silent Hill is it's the James videotape scene, and the theme of Laura's playing, someone's watching Return to Silent Hill on this TV in room 312, and then the image goes off and you see the reflection of Christoph Gans, and he's like, yeah, I killed my own career.
No. And that was kind of like another thing that brought me out was the radio, and we kept hearing, was it Claire de Lune or whatever, musical piece?
Yeah, the fucking evil.
And I'm like, all I could think of was, did you just say it? The Evil Within?
The Evil Within,
Not
yeah.
the same way.
I was like, what? That was another thing that took me out, and it was like,
why not use the music
from the game?
Any track from the game, really? But why not use like the music box
orchestra
music
doesn't
or
really
something?
fit with that series anyway.
What the fuck?
Hold on.
And he never commits to anything. Every time he has it, like the radio's in it. I looked at it recently. I was tracking it. 2 scenes at the start when the homeless guy's melting. The one visual effect I liked, and then he has it again later with the nurses, but that's it. And they don't use it for the rest of the thing. It doesn't even come on.
Well, no, it comes in of alerting him when the enemies were
Yeah.
nearby, just like the
And
game. But like the thematic reason of why it's there is when he picks up that radio, he hears Mary. She actually says, "Why did you kill me?" But it's so garbled that you don't necessarily hear it the first time around, and you hear her. He hears her voice. That radio is what drives him to continue to look for her when all hope is lost. Because when he sees that videotape, the radio, he's like sitting in the chair. He's like, "I killed her. What am I doing here?" And that radio comes to life, going, "James, James, where are you, James? Do you hate me? Is that why you coming to me? James, where are you?" And he's like, it propels him to move forward, to get to that last bit in the hotel and confront Mary and what he did. I mean, he already confronted what he did, but to actually go forward and to continue to find Mary. Iconic scenes in the games are completely missing from this adaptation. That just throws me off. He can't even use the radio correctly.
I mean, even just on a horror level, like it's like, okay, he uses the one weapon he throws at the line figure, then never uses a weapon again, to the point that it's distracting when he doesn't have a gun.
Yeah.
We melt the homeless guy because we have to show that the lying figures can hurt people, but then nobody else gets killed except for Maria, which is why I think he does it so over the top. It's like, he fundamentally just, it's like, okay, I have an idea, I'm going to do it for 2 scenes and I'm going to drop it. I'm going to have a cult, I'm going to have it for 2 scenes and I'm going to drop it. It's like, they're all patchworks to get from one scene to the next. It's all like first draft stuff.
Yeah, so we're kind of going in circles now. I feel like I'm just gonna continue ranting.
Yeah, I got
So
out here in a
let's
second.
any like last thoughts, closing statements about this film that you would like to just say, to close us out. I know like some of us have kind of taken over the talking. I'm so sorry about that. Like Victoria, we haven't heard from you. Is it
All right.
as someone just kind of just saw it as a movie. What are your like closing thoughts? Like I guess unconnected to the connection to the game. Like what are your thoughts?
I think I can give you a conglomeration. So I feel like overall my feelings towards this is like fundamental cowardice. I feel like psychological horror is, obviously supposed to mirror us. It's supposed to be like uncomfortable, ambiguous, human, basically. And obviously Silent Hill 2, psychological horror games. But I feel like Gons is like too afraid to let us sit with like the complexity of James, who did something unforgivable. And by introducing this generic cult, basically, it poisons the narrative. And with that, he didn't just like simplify the story, which he does. He also gave James that alibi, and I feel like that's very unforgivable compared to what I now know the game is about. Because I feel like he turned like a very profound meditation on grief and guilt, like that Silent Hill 2 brought to, horror gaming, but just gaming in general, and to just a very basic bad guys made me do it flick. Like the cult caused her, the sickness and to die, and she had to die. And I feel like that's not being faithful. Again, something he was really harping on. It's just being a coward who refuses to believe a modern audience can handle like a morally gray protagonist. And I don't want to like just bring this term up because I feel like it's thrown around a lot. Like, but misogyny is, I still see it like super baked into this. It's 2026 and we're still watching a director strip away every ounce of agency. So we already have talked about like James not having agency, but he strips away every ounce of agency from all of his female characters. In his hands, Mary isn't a 3-dimensional woman with her own pain and anger. She's just like a freaking like vessel, basically,
Yes.
for like the cult ritual.
Mhm.
And then like by merging the backstories of like all the female characters into like this one aspect of Mary, he basically is like, he's like basically saying like the women in this universe are like interchangeable props meant only to like trigger a man's basically like sad boy arc. And I find that very
Yeah.
dated, and I find it very lazy, and I find it's it's basically like a slap in the face to anyone really who knows this like
Mhm.
historic horror game for being very emotionally depth. And I feel like if you are going to be really disrespectful to like this experience, I think he should have just gone like full surrealist. Like, give me like the stupid UFOs. I'm still sad I didn't have a Mira at the ending.
Yeah.
Like at least like the movie would have like a spark of imagination. And instead it's just like hollow. And honestly, we didn't talk a ton about the effects, but yeah, hollow CGI graveyard. And I feel like it's directed by a man who's too scared to basically like look his own story in the eye. That's my thoughts.
She's cooking.
Completely agree.
I have to quickly interject because you just made me remember one last thing. Oh, the gravestone has all the female characters except for Maria, who is literally the
you.
one that is supposed
Oh,
to
yes.
be a
That was what I was
manifestation
gonna
of the
say.
town. Like that's like the best example of like he doesn't understand this story because the one character that's literally like a manifestation, he doesn't put on.
Yeah, why is she not on it? I was losing my mind.
Oh my god. Anyways, sorry.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It is very weak. It's weak sauce. I can't make James a loser. He has to be this cool artistic dude. He's not just like a regular, office worker or whatever. Kind of socially inept or whatever. No, he's like this cool guy, and all this bad stuff seems to happen to him. Poor James. He's not the bad guy in this film. No, everything happens to him. That's what I got out of this. That's why it's not James. It's not because he's not wearing the iconic green jacket or anything. It's none of that stuff. I do not see the character James in the game represented at all in this new version of James. I mean, it's a new character. He should have just made... My closing thoughts. Gons, you should have made your own Silent Hill film. You should have done your own little original story set in the town of Silent Hill. And I would have been like, okay, whatever. That's his story. But the fact is you had to use the outline of one of the best video game stories ever told, and you massacred it. You should have just made your own original Silent, like what you kind of alluded to in one of your Q&A interviews about how you'd like people in Konami to write you an original story to direct. That's what you should have done. You should have stayed away from Silent Hill 2 because you did not do it justice at all. I wish it was never made. And I never even said that about Revelation. I still got some enjoyment from that. I got excited seeing some of the weird little nods to the game. This one, no. Hollow.
You have so much leeway to Silent Hill that when you said you thought Revelation sucked, everybody's like, even Whitney doesn't like it. Like that's the one thing I remember from that game was that like how like it has to be so bad that even Whitney can't enjoy it. And think about how mad you are about this film beyond that.
I think it was Ascension. Yeah, when we were watching the first night on stream, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is not Silent Hill. I'm not gonna continue watching it." And people were like, holy shit, even Whitney doesn't like this. I mean, I guess I have the reputation of liking everything Silent Hill. Newsflash, guys, that's a lie. There's a lot of stuff I do not like. And I thought I'd been pretty clear over the years of the things I don't like. But,
I exist, so there's evidence of things Whitney doesn't like at all.
No. Yeah, so closing statements shouldn't have been made.
CJ, what about you? What are your last thoughts?
I wonder if Christoph Gans went through divorce for this movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Got big divorce dad energy too, doesn't it?
Yes.
That's a good theory, actually. Oh shit.
No, but yeah, I think it was abysmal, and I hope people just play either of the two games instead. That's really it. Like it's one of the best stories in all of video games. Ignore this movie. Play one of the games instead.
I'll tell you.
Don't watch this movie. The only circumstance in which this movie should be watched is if you want to review it for something. Or it's like you and a group of friends getting together to experience it. But really, I mean, nothing about this movie was worthwhile. Everything about it makes me so like not just upset but like heartbroken. Like I don't know about all of you, but as a teen I used to fantasize about what a Silent Hill 2 movie could be like. You know, I love like reading scripts for things that were discarded, like I reading Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates and the original pitch for Spider-Man by Jim Cameron. Fucking terrible, by the way, but it's still interesting to read. And it's always fascinating to kind of pick apart and piece together. Like, you could make such a cool Silent Hill 2 movie, and this is like just a heartbreakingly terrible movie. And it hurts even more knowing that this is probably it. Like, this movie did so badly and so many people hate it that the only future Silent Hill has on screen is probably just more stuff like it. Like, in a decade when, who is it, Constantine? Screen Gems? I don't remember.
Yeah.
One of the two Resident Evil people. Whoever it is that owns it, in 10 years, they have to make something with it to retain the rights. We'll get some direct to DVD shit that's like some awful director for hire thing that's like an adaptation of 4 or something. And it will be terrible and tasteless. And that's just our future with Silent Hill on film. And I find that really depressing. Fuck this movie. Fuck the world. Just play the game. Silent Hill 2 remake is really, really, truly wonderful. They really cared. Play the original Silent Hill 2 if you have a way of playing it on PC. You know, the HD collection exists. Not great, but if it's your only option, it's your only option. Don't. Just don't.
I like how both of us are just like, don't even bother. Like, I am like you, I'm so heartbroken, and I did not expect this reaction. Before the movie, I thought there would be something I could cling to, and that's what I am. I'm just so sad, guys. This is the last probably Silent Hill movie we're ever gonna get. I thought Revelation was it, and I was okay with that. But this gave me hope.
Let us know.
Yeah, I guess I have. I don't know. I don't know if it's a little less skin in the game or if I just don't care. But I mean, I can't get too mad at this movie because, like, I mean, yes, there's always that ideal version of a Silent Hill 2 movie in your head, but realistically, what did you think you were going to get with this new one? We even had the same director doing it. We had, like, yes, there could have been a good version of that. He could have stuck to the story of the game and did everything fundamentally right from a story and structure perspective, but it still could have sucked. So for me, like, we have the original. Now we have a modern remake that everybody can play on all different kinds of systems, but just play that. Like, again, so for me personally, I can't get that mad at it because when I saw it, I didn't hate it. It just sort of washed over me. There are a couple fun parts here and there. A decent performance by the actress who played Mary, I thought.
I
But
agree.
it's like I can't really get too mad about it because there's so many. There's so much other good stuff. To me, this is a blip. This isn't like, oh, the downfall of Silent Hill in movies. Well, that was never its strong suit. That's never what Silent Hill was, to me anyway. And if they made a good movie, great. But the games, to me, that's the thing. And we have the remake, which is great. We had Silent Hill F, which I absolutely adored. For me, that's a 10 out of 10 game. And now we just got a better look at Townfall, which also looks like another fresh take on
I'm
the
so.
series.
I just want to say, guys, yeah, I'm really excited for Townfall. I didn't
We have
expect to
everything
be,
going,
and yeah, it looks
but there's
good.
one movie, and to me, that's fine. Like, it's not fine that they screwed it up, of course. Obviously, I would have preferred a good version of that movie, but there's so much else to worry about. Like, there's so much else to do instead. I saw it in the theater, got my kick, saw it a second time, you know, because you're only going to be able to see it in the theater at one time unless they re-release it for something. But I'm good. If I wanted to see a competent version of that story, I'd play the games. That's
Yeah.
my final thoughts.
What about you, Josh?
I feel like people can have the right to like or dislike this film. I think personally, Revelation is worse.
I agree.
But this one makes me more mad, just for the record. But I think, regardless of what you feel, it's not a passively dislike the film because he did a bad job. I think you have to get actively, and to kind of piggyback on the excellent stuff Victoria said, mad at Gons, because I think the thing that's the most disgusting and frustrating to me is, okay, so he depicts these three characters, decides to make them all the same woman. The little girl that he apparently wanted to include, an abortion baby thing with, is a spooky, Laura Pennywise Crane, spooky little girl doing spooky stuff, and then all the women that James could have sex with are normal and don't do spooky stuff. You know, except for like becoming a bug at the end. Like, I think that really speaks to how fucking gross on like a granular level that is, and I think he should be judged for that. And then I just kind of want to end with a question. What does the tagline "You live here now" fucking mean, given this movie?
I don't know. I mean, he did live there for a bit.
He literally.
Well, it says now. He used to live there. It's not you used to live there. You live there now, but he doesn't live there. In
I
fact,
think that's
he
just
dies
a
there.
generic tagline for the
Yeah,
audience lives on the hill. I don't think it's any greater meaning than a
the marketing desperately trying to come up with something to put on
Yeah.
the poster.
Yeah.
I think
The
the only.
title, I will say that the title is interesting because you can't call it Silent Hill 2.
Thank
So, I mean,
God.
you know, we've had Batman Returns and all this stuff, but all things considered, Return to Silent Hill is not a bad title.
Like I always took it as kind of like a Final Fantasy VII remake kind of situation where the title had multiple meanings. It's like Jim is returning to Silent Hill, Christoph Gans is returning to Silent Hill, the audience is returning. So it's like, okay, the movie title
works on
has multiple
levels.
meanings. But you know,
Yeah. I think for me, it's just if you're gonna adapt a story that's important to so many people, I do think you need to, if you respect the work, you need to actually take the time to break down the story and understand what the fundamentals are. A fundamental part of Silent Hill 2, the literal hook of the like the back of the PS2 box back in the day was James goes to Silent Hill because his wife Mary, who has been dead for 3 years, sent him a letter. He got a letter from his dead wife, and you know, I said this earlier, but if there's one thing that could make you go or make me go to a ghost town, it would be like the most important person in the world sending you a letter. And yes, I know he killed her and blah 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 blah, but like the very fundamentals of the story, the very baseline things are not in this movie, and yeah, I agree that it's like heartbreaking. Like why? And I had like no skin in the game in the sense that I cared whether this movie was good or not. Like I thought it was gonna be boring at worst, but it just doesn't feel good when like one of your favorite things is done such a disservice. That's basically how I feel at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think.
DJ, did you give your final thoughts?
I did.
He did.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
I think that's it. I think I think I'm so mad just because of it's on par with just my disappointment. Like, how can you screw up the story this badly? And yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, if you liked it and you're upset that I just can't see the vision, but I can't. I take his comments about making another Silent Hill film as a threat. I don't want him to do it. Get the fuck away from the franchise.
Well, I don't think you need to worry about that. That $3 million opening box office is pretty much sealed the deal.
Akira, man, love your music, but I really hate this this trend now of giving him more credit for what makes Silent Hill Silent Hill. Like, I'm sorry, he did not create the series, guys. He didn't even write the series. He might have been in some talks and whatnot, but I gotta say, I don't really trust his judgment if he felt this was a good adaptation of Silent Hill 2. And hey, man, grab that bag, you know.
yeah.
And I think he was being nice.
Music.
I think he was being nice to Gons by saying,
Yeah,
"Oh
I
yeah,
think it's a professional thing rather than any kind of. He probably doesn't love the film, but he's contractually obligated to promote it
Yeah.
and market it.
I mean, he's always up, and I'm thankful that he's willing to return to the series and provide music and whatnot. But please don't pretend that he is what the original team was. There's more people, and you know, just leaning on him.
Is that him, or is that more people talking about him though?
No, it's Gons mainly in his interviews, like leaning hard on Akira's approval, and then again at the the interviews after the movie released.
Right,
and
but it's not
com-
necessarily Akira saying he created the series and blah, 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 right?
No, it's just what seems like for some reason they want to give him that sort of like header for his job
Right.
title.
Well, I think a big part
He's
of
the
that
only
is-
one left.
No, he's
I-
not.
No,
Yeah,
that's
no,
actively working on the games now. I mean,
I
Ito
guess.
worked on 2 remake.
Yeah, I think honestly, and this is gonna sound dumb, but I really think it's just that he's the only person they can name.
Okay.
You know, like
Yeah, I think October's exactly
everyone.
right.
Yeah, everyone blames Tom Hewlett for their issues with the Western games because he's the only person they can name. And with Akira Yamaoka, he's the only member of the dev team they know the name of. You know,
Yeah, we are going on in circles. I guess we should wrap it up because I know you guys have to get places. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really didn't expect this to go on for so long, but wow, we ranted. I ranted. Anything new that you guys would like to promote while you're here? This is your chance.
I'll send you the link to share for Hold the Beans Cut if people want to check that out.
Yeah,
yeah, I've never
Okay.
seen that. I'd be interested in seeing that.
you should watch it. It's good.
On Rely on Horror, we're actually going to be doing an upcoming review of the book, so look out for that. We also have a ton of new Townfall content and articles, and Resident Evil 9 is just around the corner, so hit Rely on Horror up for all the news and reviews you can use.
Oh, and we're going to the Akira concert coming up this week. So that should be fun. I don't know if we should do a podcast about our experience. Let me know in the comments if that's something you guys want. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't have anything specific, but you can check me out on Blue Sky. I am at October Art, and you can check out the game Last Caretaker, which I worked on. It is on Steam in early access right now, and you can find my artwork all over the place.
Nice.
So
Congrats.
that's fun.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Kyle Vito, KYLE VITO. I'm probably just posting stupid shit about Meshuggah or like being upset of this movie or whatever. So don't probably shouldn't follow me, but if you want to, go ahead.
Yeah, you can just follow me too at CJ Melendez on Blue Sky. Cause I'm nothing really to promote right now.
Victoria, are you online? You want to have anything to share?
No, I'm a secret girl.
Alrighty.
Thank
For
you. though.
Woman of mystery.
And Josh just sent me the link to the Hold the Beans, whatever. I will make sure, guys, to put that in the description of the YouTube video, and also a link to it directly on my fan site. If you're interested in seeing the Hold the Bean cuts, highly recommend. Yeah. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks again so much for you guys joining me. Thank you for watching the movie twice with me, back to back, you guys.
I'm sorry, Whitney. I didn't mean to do that to you.
Hey, I thought it wouldn't be as bad as it was, but it was fun seeing with friends. It gave us an excuse to meet in real life, so that was awesome. I hope everyone listening, I hope you guys have a great week, and if you like the movie, I'm happy for you. Hopefully it didn't piss you off too much. I guess I'll talk to you guys real soon. Maybe when Downfall comes out, or maybe we'll talk about our experience at the concert. It's still up in the air. So, goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
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 Voices in the Static, the podcast of the Soundhell fan site, soundhellhistoricalsociety.com, was recorded and edited by me, Whitney Chavis. I want to give a big thanks to all my guests and you guys for listening. It's been a blast gushing about this series to you all over the years.